Hey, everybody out there in Podcastville. Thank you for tuning in this week. You have found us. We are Wish We Were Then. This is the show that's been doomed to repeat history so that you may learn from it. And we were hidden, and you found us. Good job. My name is Trey, and I'm joined by Mark. How are you today?
I'm doing great, man. Very nostalgic year for us going back. We don't do a lot of round numbered years,
No,
so
that's true.
I always find it extra fun to try to do research on these years.
Yeah. It's interesting to see how they shape up, what they do to make themselves different. I mean, we talk about that every time there's one of these, like you said, a year ending in zero. That's what we're about to look at today. This is a year that, I'll just say it, folks, the 1980s, they're over with. They're done. They're out the window. They're in the rear view, baby. They're a thing of the past. We are moving on with our lives. The people of America have different values now, and it's time that their habits change to reflect those changing values. People are far less interested in smoking than they were in the past. There's bans coming up about smoking across the country. People are less interested in drinking beer. They don't want to get drunk off their beer. They prefer to have some non-alcoholic beer. Or give me a glass of juice. I'll get my nutrients from juice. That's what they want to go out and spend their hard-earned money on is going to juice stores and stuff like that. Basically, Americans are getting rid of the old unnecessary things from the past decades. They're saying this is not good. This isn't a positive thing. This isn't adding to our lives. We got to strip all of that unnecessary, unwanted fat away and move on. Just focus on the important things. Focus in on what are our core values. And Mark and I, here on Wish We Were Then, we were inspired by the American people of the year we looked at this week, the year that we went back to. We said to each other, I think that we need to follow their lead. So, yeah, you might have noticed yourselves, folks, if you look down there at the timestamp on this episode, it looks a lot more wieldy than usual. God willing. That's the plan. We're doing things a little differently. We're going to try to streamline the show just a tad bit. Also save myself some editing time as well. We're trying to just focus in on what matters, the important things, just like the folks did in America back in the year 1990.
It basically just affects the music as of right now until further happenings may be happening. But mostly it's affecting the way that we do the music. We'll still go over the top 10, but not in so much detail. And I think we'll be able to talk about more things that are relevant to the average listener.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff that I just cut out of the music section to keep it from being overly long. And I'm always like, this is far more interesting than the stuff we talked about. Oh, well, these are the rules that I made up. We have to fucking talk about the top 5. I wish it didn't have to be this way, but it does. And then just one day I was like, it doesn't. Why am I doing this? Every week I'm cutting out way more interesting stories. Let's see. Just to start things off, I'll say based on what I had mentioned in the opening, this happened pretty early on in February. Smoking was banned on all cross-country flights in the U.S.
I also saw that it was banned in bars.
Yes,
in many places. So I was like, we've done so many smoking ban things already. I was like, I'm just gonna leave that one on the table. But I saw that. I didn't know that it was banned in airplanes.
Yeah, that was February, and then in August 2nd, in San Luis Obispo, that was the first ban in bars of smoking in the United States. And I'd said possibly even the world. That could have been the first ban in bars of smoking. I mean, other public places had done it, but yeah, in actual bars. And yeah, it's crazy to think that was so recent, 1990.
I mean, maybe it was just my household, but I grew up around smokers. Smoking was just part of the culture when we were growing up, and I didn't even think about it like as weird until later. But I always knew that you weren't allowed to smoke most places. You had to go outside or you had to go somewhere.
But now that I'm thinking about it, I remember being a kid and because like my family, my immediate family didn't smoke, but like my relatives did. All of my relatives did. And I remember being at a really little kid and being at a bar once, and my uncle was saying, "Will you grab me that ashtray?" And I was like, okay, I gotta do my best. I'll figure it out. Like I'm just, I was pretty young, but I figured like I'll look at the table where he pointed and grab something I don't know what it is, and hopefully that's it. So I grab a little glass jar thing and bring it over to him. He says thanks. And I was like, I guess that's an ashtray. But I remember that happening, and now I'm thinking about it, going, oh fuck, I guess I'm old enough that you still could smoke in bars in California. That wasn't across the board yet, so I don't even know when that occurred. Like, when did it fully get outlawed in bars? But I guess it was when we were still old enough that I had to reason with myself and go, okay, Trey, you can find an ashtray, you can figure this out.
I feel like we talked about it. We do so much research; it's hard to keep.
Yeah, it is. It's very hard.
Everything straight.
But I mean, I smoked in a bar in Texas like 10 years
That's
ago.
Cool. I smoked in an airport in France.
That's pretty cool.
They had like one of those like ventilated rooms that you can go inside of.
That's cool. I smoked at the Las Vegas airport. They have little
inside it.
Yeah, there's a little they have little casino rooms, like tiny. Like there was this one that was very small. I mean, not very small, but the size of like a living room that was all filled with slot machines. And because it's a casino in Vegas, you can smoke in casinos. So it was So yeah, they had the little ventilators and stuff, and people would just pop in there and smoke, and then it was pretty cool.
That is cool.
But not great though. It shouldn't smoke. It's not a good thing to do. I don't smoke.
Sounds like we're condoning smoking. We do not condone smoking.
Yeah,
I do not smoke.
Don't do it. Let's see what else.
But you would look so cool if you did.
Especially if you do it indoors, man. Fuck, that's like who's that guy? Super fucking cool.
That guy doesn't give a fuck. On June 14th, DUI checkpoints were upheld by the Supreme Court, saying that it does not violate the Fourth Amendment protection of unreasonable searches and seizures.
Interesting.
I know. I don't agree, Supreme Court. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I don't see why that's not like entrapment. I mean, you're stopping everybody for no reason. What is the reasonable search and seizure? Why do you stop them?
Yeah,
because they happen to be driving that way. That's not.
Yeah, I guess I was thinking it's definitely one of those things where my immediate thought is like, yeah, but if you're not drinking and driving, it shouldn't really present an issue, or you're not doing something else that like isn't illegal. But I guess it just opens up opportunities for abuse of power, and so they've got you stopped, and they start poking around. They go, "Hey, well, what's that? And then they drop a bag of heroin in your backseat and go, "Look what I found under your baby's car seat." So I mean, like I said, they just want to get you. They can or whatever. So it's like, let's just keep this all above board. But that's obviously not the way that the Supreme Court feels. So I guess they think no, just don't have illegal shit in your car. I guess.
Yeah, that's also true. We're not doing anything wrong. If anything, it's just an inconvenience for you if you're not drinking and driving or have a bag of heroin under your seat.
Yeah, I don't know. That's stuff like that's really tricky. It really is. It's like I feel both ways
also
about
like,
it.
Well, if we come search your home, just don't have any drugs in there.
Yeah,
don't have anything illegal in there. Don't worry about it when we come search your home. I don't know. Where does the line stop?
Yeah, that's true. But then also even that, you're like, well,
you're just on the street that we happen to be searching.
Yeah, I mean that's what I think of. If you can't just stop everybody walking on the sidewalk, like just because it's in the cars, like we kind of go. But that's the thing about the car situation though, is that it's like, what, you're driving these giant thousands of pound like murder machines. Yeah, you can just destroy a whole group of people if you're not careful, and we're very cavalier about driving.
That is a good point.
So yeah, I mean, maybe it should be like held to a higher standard. I mean, it should just be like fucking just like checkpoints to make sure you're good enough at driving. They should just stop you and be like, "Listen, how smart are you? Can you add?
What's this sign mean?
Yeah,
all right,
exactly.
You're good to go. Get out of here.
Yeah.
Let me see you over here again.
You pull up to that stop sign. Who's gonna go first? And he's like, the guy to my left. Like,
Everyone would fail.
Yeah, that's interesting. That goes in with like our attitudes toward drinking. We're changing. Like I said, it kind of fits in with the smoking thing that we just starting to change our ways. I mean, back in the 70s, like you really could like have a beer in the car with you,
Yeah,
and it wasn't really
there's
a
a lot
big
of places
deal.
that you could. Yeah.
People didn't really mind that. It was just seen as like, oh, that's fine. You're drinking and you're driving. I remember seeing some like interview with some guy who was like,
Oh yeah, I've
I
seen
can't
that
remember what it
video.
was. He's like, it's getting to the point where you can't even drive down the street with a beer anymore. You're like,
He's
yeah.
like, I can't get in my truck after a long day of hard work and crack open a beer. This is ridiculous.
It's like, no, you shouldn't be doing that. But I mean, I've driven with guys who are like that, like gotten rides home with dudes from the job site, and they're like, I remember one time in particular, I was out here in Texas, and one guy, we stopped at the convenience store, and he went in and was like, "You want a beer?" And I was like, it's okay. Like, I don't, you don't have to buy me a beer for when I get home or whatever. That seems weird." They get back in the car, he cracks it open, starts drinking it while we're driving. And I was like, oh, fuck, I guess it was for a now beer. I didn't realize that.
An actual road beer.
Yeah, for real. It was real. I was like, I thought this was gonna be a like for later situation. That's usually how I buy my beers. Is I tend to take them home. See, another thing that kind of goes in with that idea of shifting values and things like that. This is another one of these things that you go, man, it's just wild that this stuff was as recent as it was. May 17th, the World Health Organization removed homosexuality from its list of diseases. Yeah, I was like, damn.
Crazy.
I mean, the fact that it was on the list of diseases in general is like, that's unfortunate. Whatever, the world was different, but it's like, damn, that took a long time to get taken off. 1990 is pretty late to be going, all right, you guys aren't diseased.
Man, that's crazy. I didn't even know it was on the disease list.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's got to be some like like a mental disorder or something like that. Is how they was
Yeah, it's how
classified.
they
Would be
were classifying it.
yeah, my guess. But yeah, at least I mean, it's not anymore. But it's still 1990, not that long ago. I want to talk about South Africa briefly. I want to mention real quick.
We all want to talk about South Africa, Trey.
This is very important to our show. Really, anytime that we can mention something to do with Nelson Mandela, it's it's important for us. So, whole thing is that we're time traveling, so we see the things as they actually happen. We don't have we have an unvarnished opinion. We have a real firsthand account. We don't just rely on our memories. So, February 11th, Nelson Mandela dies in prison. That's the truth of the matter, folks. There you go. Moving on. Just kidding. Nelson Mandela was released from prison on February 11th after 27 years of incarceration. So he was imprisoned for opposing the government and the like racial segregation and all that kind of stuff that was going on. And I actually found out that with his arrest, an American diplomat named Donald Rickard said that the CIA feared Mandela's ties to communism. And, that was a huge concern back in the 60s for America and the government and everything like that. So they didn't want him gaining power or helping to divert power away from the government and towards communism in South Africa. So the CIA actually tipped off the South African government as to Mandela's whereabouts. And so that's the reason he got arrested.
Oh, shit. It's always the CIA, man. It always comes back to the
It really CIA. Is. They're the worst. I hate those guys. Right? It seems like
the more we do this, the more it's like everything is just, it always falls back on them.
It usually has to do with
they're like them. The ones that are like actually running everything.
Yeah, it really is.
They'll just do shit like that.
Yeah,
it's not like the president was like, yes.
Yeah, exactly. The president will be told something. The CIA is doing this thing, and he's like, I don't like that. Like that was a big thing with Kennedy. Very quickly, Kennedy had a mishap. He was really willing to oppose the CIA, and he
died for it. Essentially,
I mean, he's one of the few that did that. It's too bad that he died unrelated.
Yeah, weird.
Because it's pretty freaky. A lot of what they have, that when you find out about their deeds. Most of the time, it's like they were able to squash this civil rights thing. Like, why is that mostly what they seem to be wanting to do? Is like not let people have rights. That seems to be like their main concern. Is I guess just keeping us down.
Yeah, I don't know. They're the man. They're the man keeping us down, Trey. We
They
figured it
are.
out.
They are. And well, 1990, we did some rectifying of the shit that they had done back then, and in October 15th, South Africa ended the segregation of libraries, trains, buses, toilets, swimming pools, and other public facilities. So we're seeing an end to apartheid coming around.
F.W. de Klerk became South Africa's president, and he started dismantling the apartheid.
Yeah, so I guess he just came in and he said it's time for a change. And one thing we got to do is get this Mandela guy out of prison.
Yeah,
And
other political prisoners too were released with him.
yeah, he's just the most high profile one because they hired some actor who looked just like him because he died in prison early. But yeah, so the ending of apartheid is a huge deal. I mean, that was something that was going on for a long time. That was pretty fucked up. And another similar situation all throughout this year, there's a lot of meetings going on, a lot of summits between world powers. And on November 19th through the 21st, world leaders met in Paris to officially mark the end of the Cold War. So we have apartheid ending, we have the Cold War ending. We're just getting rid of these. The same thing that I was mentioning in the beginning. We're moving on with our lives. In 1990, everybody in the world is like, Russia's like, it's the 90s, man. Let's move on with our lives. So they all just move. Everybody's like, let's clean slate, okay? No more Cold War, no more apartheid, no more smoking on planes. Let's clean living, okay?
And added one more to that list. In September 20th, East and West Germany voted to reunite. 442 to 47 against.
Oh wow, that's pretty good. That's all good. I was worried that when I heard the 4 first mentioned, I was like, oh, it was like 442 to 441. That was close. So I'm glad that it was 400 more people voted to do this than to not do it.
Knocked a 0 off that first number. So yeah, a lot of reuniting, you can say, coming together.
Yeah, it is. We really are. Like, it really was like the world was just like, listen, it's the 90s, man. Let's move on. Let's be good. Let's all be friendly. That's really nice. I like talking about the crime stuff, just interesting, weird crimes that I find that happen. And on March 18th, the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum in Boston was robbed. And this is a pretty cool robbery that occurred. It was about 1:20 in the morning. 2 men show up at the museum dressed as police officers. They tell the 2 on-duty guards, well, there's one guy manning the desk, the other one's out patrolling. And they come in and say, we're responding to a distress call that, the guards figured there must have been someone jumped a fence and the cops were called or something like that. So they let the cops in. And then one of the cops is looking at the guy behind the desk and says, like, you look familiar. We might have a warrant for you. Can we get your ID? So the guy gets up and comes around from around the desk so he can pull out his ID. The only silent alarm was behind that desk. So these guys knew to get him away from the desk so that way they could keep themselves from having the alarm go off. So they handcuff him. The other guard comes in. They handcuff him. They lead these guys to the basement. Then they go on and steal 13 works of art from the museum over the course of the next 81 minutes. And the value of the art has been estimated to be between $200 to $600 million.
Damn.
This is the highest value museum robbery in history.
Damn.
Lots of money. I mean, hundreds of millions of dollars is pretty crazy. There's a $10 million reward offered by the museum for any information leading to the return of these paintings and stuff. That's the highest reward that's ever been offered by a private institution.
Damn.
So $10 million. So you gotta keep. Well, next time when we go back to like 1989, keep our eyes open and see if you see anybody planning anything. There have been no arrests in connection to this. There have been no recoveries of any of the art. It's all just missing, completely unsolved. They don't have any clue who took it or who these guys are. Because this museum was the way it was laid out in Isabella Stewart Gardner's will is that nothing could ever be added or taken away from the collection. So they left all of the empty frames just hanging where they were. It kind of in remembrance of the paintings and awaiting the return of of the art should they ever be recovered. The statute of limitations for this crime actually expired back in 1995, which is pretty fast. I thought you could steal $600 million worth of art, lay low for 5 years, and then you're chill.
I feel like 10 years makes more sense.
Yeah, statutes of limitations are weird in general. I don't really understand why you're just like, oh, we can't get you now. Like, we prove there's a video of you murdering this guy. And it's like, well, it's too late.
I think it made sense prior to videotapes. Because then it's like, I don't believe what you said, what you're saying happened 5 years ago. You can't get, you know what I mean? Like, how do you know that you even remember that correctly?
Yeah. Like it's just as more concrete evidence is available, it makes sense. But when you're relying on just word of mouth and some guy's like, I remember it was 10 years ago. You're like, I don't think I trust you, Grandpa. So they can come forward and give information. They can give the paintings back if they want to at this point, and they wouldn't get in trouble. The feds say that no prosecution is going to come to anybody who returns any artwork. So these guys are free and clear if they want to ever give it back, which sounds outlandish. But in 1994, there was a letter that was sent to the museum saying they wanted to negotiate the return of the artwork. Like the guys were like, done. We regret taking this. It was
I couldn't sell it.
Yeah, I'm sure that this was very well-known pieces of art that are stolen now. Yeah, they're the most well-known. You're just like sitting on.
And if they try to sell it to somebody, it's like, why would I not just turn you in for
$10 million? Mm-hmm. And keep the Rembrandt. Just like, I'll take it. Yeah, let me take 2 Rembrandts and keep one, and then tell the cops about all the other stuff. But they said they want to negotiate the return for $2.6 million. So like, we'll give you back the art, and you give us $2 million. 2.6. I don't know why it was specifically 2.6. But then they said, if you agree, if you will do this museum, if you agree to our terms, print this coded message in the Boston Globe. And they did. They did post. They said, okay, well, we're going to do it. We'll post they posted the coded message. Then they got a follow-up letter that was like kind of them backing out. They got scared. They're like, it seems like there's a lot of attention now on this, so we're just going to keep the paintings. And then they just like never wrote back again. They were not who knows for sure if they really were the guys, but that was like the most credible lead there ever was.
Damn, and they never got caught, huh?
No, nothing. Nobody ever. There have been
masterminds.
They think. Though it's weird though, because they took the stuff they took, like they did a really shoddy job of like cutting the paintings out of their frames. They didn't cut them out super clean, and like they fucked them up just by cutting them instead of like removing the thing and like undoing them and shit like that. There was a proper way to steal art that they didn't do, and then they say they probably weren't transported appropriately, so they probably got damaged even further. And then there was one thing, they tried to get this big like flag down, and they like started to take off all these screws, and then they get like halfway through they just stopped, and so they just grabbed a little like eagle off the top of the flagpole that like is pretty much basically worthless compared to the rest of the stuff. So they're just like got frustrated, like, grab the eagle, let's get out of here. So they kind of seemed like they weren't professionals. They obviously didn't have a plan with what to do with the art afterwards. So they just seemed sort of like they bumbled their way through this thing. So there either were a couple of fools who I don't know, just sort of lucked their way into doing this. Actually, one of the security guards said that he thinks that the mustache one of the cops had was like fake. So like you guys are wearing like fake mustaches. And so
you couldn't have grown a mustache out for like a couple weeks before this. You didn't have even plan that far ahead.
But people think it could have been Whitey Bulger, like the crime boss, that he might have had something to do with it. There's a lot of people that they like investigated in the Boston Mafia. So it could have been organized crime. They just never really had any credible, solid leads, though. They thought for a minute it could have been one of the security guards, but because he was the only, like, when they recorded, they looked at like the security systems they had. It records like when footsteps occurred in different rooms, and the only footsteps that occurred in the 3rd floor where there were robberies occurred when this guard Rick Abath was doing his rounds. That's the only time anyone was walking up there. So it's like possible that he grabbed some of the stuff and like hid it in a different area, and then when the robbery occurred, he was either part of it or he orchestrated. He told them how to get in, but he never got implicated in any sort of way. And actually, one of the like lead investigators, he specifically said like those security guards who worked there were kind of too dumb to have done this. And so he actually said like, I think they're kind of bumbling idiots. I don't think that they would have been able to accomplish
It sounds
this.
like a couple bumbling idiots did it, so maybe they did.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, they just like just grabbed the shit, put it in their car, and then like tied themselves up in the basement and waited for the new guards to
Just
show
handcuff. They didn't even tie themselves up. Handcuffs. You can handcuff yourself so easily.
Yeah, you can handcuff your friend even easier. Just, well, you guys go back.
Even
to
if
back
you're
up.
handcuffed, you can handcuff your friend. It'd be
Yeah,
so
exactly.
easy to do.
Yeah, so I mean, I think we just cracked this, and we got to call the Boston Museum and let them know $10 million is coming.
Dang, is that $10 million still up for sale?
Yeah, I don't know if anyone's ever got it. Just tell them, listen, did you think that maybe it was both the security guards? And they're like, fuck, no, we didn't. We never thought of that. Ah, shit, we got to give these guys $10 million. This podcast is making us money already. Look at it. Look at that. All right, that's it for the robbery of the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum.
All right, this is a year of coming togetherness, and one way that we would do that, and for us Americans, is we would put a McDonald's in the USSR.
Yes.
It opened up in Moscow in 1990.
It also, the first McDonald's in China as well opened up this year.
Oh,
and
cool.
The first Pizza Hut in the USSR in China as well. Yeah, specifically those two restaurants were both opened up there, I guess. But like you said, unifying the world.
Yeah. One burger at a time.
It's like, let's export our American culture. Here you go. Here's a fucking greasy ass pizza.
Yeah, burgers and pizza. Enjoy.
And they're like, look, this is it's the 90s, okay? It's time to have hamburgers. Let's see. To just talk a couple of restaurants that opened up to highlight the changing tastes of Americans. Like I said, you had Baja Fresh.
Nice.
So it's like sort of kind of at least evoking the idea of fresh eating. I don't know how like healthy it really is.
No, but I would say it's like branching out, because isn't it like mostly like fish taco stuff? Like that's not.
Yeah, I think so.
It's not like a primary selling point, I feel like, in the 1980s.
Yeah. People were fish. Ugh. What are you, gay?
Got that disease.
You also had Jamba Juice opened up, as well as Bahama Bucks. I think that's just like snow cones, right?
I don't know what that is.
The name is familiar to me. Bahama Bucks. I'm pretty sure it's just sells snow cones. But yeah, Jamba Juice.
Oh, like a juice place. I think I know what you're talking about. I think
yeah.
In the mall.
I think there was one across the street from the mall where like that one little tiny shopping center is that's like really looks like super cute, like all like old fashioned Parisian buildings.
Oh,
that's direct.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's in there, but like also what else is in there? Wahoo's Fish Tacos. That's what I was thinking of before. I don't know if I've been to Baja Fresh actually. I don't know. I'd have to look into that. I'll check my files, see if I've been there. A place I know I've never been, but I see it around, and every time I go, that's a great name. I got to try that place. Is Zaxby's. They sell chicken.
I've heard of it. I don't think they have them around here.
I don't think so. I just started noticing them. I don't think they used to be in San Antonio. I think there's like one or two out here now, and I'm like, that's such a fucking cool name, man. A lot of cool chicken places opening up in the last few years, like Slim Chickens. Another great name.
That is a good one.
I'm like, God, I got to try Zaxby's. I got to try Slim Chickens. There's a couple good ones. And I can't remember, one of these places you can get like gizzards and shit in there.
Oh,
so
dang.
they're like real southern chicken places. I got to try one of those. Another place that opened up this year was Cabo Wabo. Sam, that's like the Van Halen restaurant.
Oh, what the heck?
Yeah, like the band Van Halen opened up a restaurant in Mexico, in Cabo San Lucas, to just have a place to party and shit. Like they had I can't remember if the tequila came first or they started selling it there after owning the place, but Cabo Wabo Cantina Tequila is like a thing. And it was just a weird, silly. They had a name. They had a song named Cabo Wabo, and so then they opened up a a place because of that
That's
song.
awesome.
And I guess it was not run super well the first few years. And in 1996, Sammy Hagar bought out the rest of Van Halen, and now he still runs it. He's still involved with this place.
Oh, that's cool. We got to go
Yeah,
there.
yeah. They've tried to like branch out. I think there's one in Vegas. They've tried to branch out a couple times and haven't really. That's like a lot of these weird restaurants like this. There's a lot of stories of them like, hey, they tried in Orlando and closed it down. It's just like they never work anywhere. Vegas is the only place that they kind of sometimes will pop off. This is a really fun one for kids to munch on, put in the lunch boxes in 1990 was Dunkaroos. That's a great 90s snack. They were actually discontinued in 2012, which is I was like, oh, that's a bummer. I kind of remember them going away. Then they stayed around. They just were discontinued in the U.S. in 2012. They stuck around in Canada. So in 2016, General Mills actually launched a full campaign around Smuggleroos, where they were encouraging Canadians to smuggle Dunkaroos into the U.S.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's like a weird thing to encourage. I guess it's not illegal. I suppose it just seems like it's just very strange. You guys could just sell them there. They did get discontinued in Canada in 2017, so I don't know if that was General Mills. Like they got in trouble. Like, hey, what are you doing? Fucking trying to smuggle these things in. You're not allowed to make them there either.
That's awesome. Hell yeah.
They got brought back in 2020, so you can get Dunkaroos again. They are. I think they first actually started getting sold in gas stations, which I kind of remember seeing them there first, like going Dunkaroos, are these back? And then they kind of branched out from there, and now you can get them all over the place again.
Yeah, I had no idea. Never had these before.
You've never had Dunkaroos?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they're great. Just basically little cookies that you dunk in frosting.
Yeah, it sounds great. How you go wrong with that?
Yeah, they're really good.
All right, speaking of kids' meals, you put in lunch boxes. Kid Cuisine would come out in March of 1990.
Oh, wow.
It was released. Launched by Congra Foods. Developed to meet growing demands for convenient parents-approved dinners. I remember getting these every once in a while.
Yeah. I had kid cuisines. I remember I liked them. I think it's funny because you're just heating up everything. They're frozen dinner, and I remember kind of liking the hot brownie. For it all to be like the same temperature for some reason was off-putting. I think this should be a little bit cooler than that. All these different things need to be temperature controlled, and they're all just coming out piping hot. It's just sort of could be unappetizing.
Yeah.
Man, I wish I could have one now. I haven't had a kid cuisine in many years. I like the little penguin guy that's on them.
Yeah, I bet you they still have them. I bet you they're still around.
Probably.
I
bet they're
$7 each though.
Yeah, I was gonna say I bet they're not as good because they probably are too healthy. They had to change a lot of the ingredients and stuff, and now you don't get a weird hot brownie anymore. You get some apple slices because of fucking super
hot
Sunday.
apple slices. Yeah, you just mush them up and you put them in the sauce.
There were a lot of kids school lunches inventions. I guess you can't send a kid to school with a kid.
No, that's a different thing.
Excuse me, where can I heat this up?
This is for all the latchkey kids who don't have parents.
Yes, exactly. But maybe their parents were drunkards, and that's why they couldn't handle taking care of their kids. And this year they could really clean up their act because O'Doul's is sold nationwide starting January 8th. So dry January. This was before that was a concept. It just kind of coincidentally came out in January, though. It first hit select markets in 1989 for them to test it. But this is something that O'Doul's is one of the best known non-alcoholic beers that we have in America. Probably is, I'd say, the top known one. Now there's a couple different ones that are newer, but it felt like you think it might be the first. This was just kind of the most recent in a rash of non-alcoholic beers that started to hit the market in the late 80s. Guinness Caliber came out in 1986. Heineken Buckler came out in 1988. And Miller came out with Sharp in 1989. The Mothers Against Drunk Driving, that happened in 1980. That group coming together and stuff like that. So that put a lot of pressure on. We talked about already. People's attitudes are changing. That happened, and then the Drunk Driving Act happened in 1988. That put like harsher penalties on drunk driving and made it so like now there's a standardized you lose your license and this all these things you have to go through. So that kind of all goes hand in hand with the stuff you were talking
Yeah,
about
that's
the
true.
like the drunk driving checkpoints and stuff. So yeah, we're really cracking down on it in the like I said the late 80s, 1990. O'Doul's comes out to go, hey, look, you're okay. If they're gonna be checking you, start drinking these,
Yeah, you could drink this while you're driving.
or at least just have it
We don't
in the cup
encourage that
holder.
either. I'm
Yeah,
just saying.
have it in the cup holder. So that way, if the cop pulls you over and goes, "Whoa, come on, man, you smell like beer," you go, "Look, it's O'Doul." Okay, I have it right here in the cup holder. That's why I stink. He goes, I can't do anything about it. This guy's clear. He's in the clear. All right, let's move. Let's start moving over into the tech world. I have a little Segway invention product, whatever, however you want to put it, that came out this year. Beano was launched in 1990. I remember the commercials for that back in the day. It was like a thing that you would take. Their slogan was "Take Beano before there'll be no gas," and it was basically like a thing. If you ate it before you ate, if you took this pill before you ate like a bunch of
Beans?
beans and broccoli and like and like beef stew and shit. You take this that way you don't take a bunch of nasty farts after the fact.
Gross.
And I guess it was it's supposed to be a way to tamp down the flatulence. And I remember that being like a lot of commercials I would see of this back in the day, and yeah, it sort of disappeared.
I feel like I remember this.
I don't know why people stopped caring. Now everybody just was like, fuck it, let's just fart. Who cares? Just it's natural.
It's better for your colon. Let it out.
Better out than in, I always say. Never understood that line. What does it mean out? Better out than in. Well, how would a burp or a fart go in?
You don't want to know, Trey. You
don't go ass to ass with me, Fiona, and fart right into my butt.
Oh man!
But I remember once my older sister saying, and it's funny how much it's stuck in my head for the rest of my life. When we were kids, she was all, "Take Beano before, they'll Beano after." I was like, "What the fuck? Does it kill you?"
Yeah, you don't have to worry about anything at all, ever.
Look, my farts are gonna be atrocious if I eat this broccoli. I'm just gonna go ahead and end it all. I'm take this Beano. I'm gonna eat the broccoli, and then I'm just gonna die. That way, you guys don't have to deal with this. So considerate of him. He really did have some bad farts.
It's way better than him sitting there farting up the room.
Okie dokie. Let's see. You got any other like proper technology?
Yeah, I got a couple of them. On October 1st, the Human Genome Project officially started. That is when we started mapping the human genes. And that's why there's 21 in me, Trey. You're welcome.
23 in me?
Or whatever. 23 in me.
I was like, what does that mean? And then I thought, is that like the number of genomes there are? I don't know.
Maybe that's why it's called 23 in me.
Yeah, and I was like, I thought you were saying that you had 21. That's why there's 21 in me.
My missing chromosomes. So On April 24th, Hubble, the Space Telescope, launched into orbit. It was actually supposed to only last 15 years, and it's still going to this day. That was like its life expectancy to come close enough to Earth that it would fall into orbit and disintegrate, essentially.
Oh, wow. So they just thought it was just like the plan for it to physically burn up or whatever. It wasn't just like, oh, we'll bring it back or we'll scuttle it or something like that. It just was.
No, they're like, it will fall back into Earth, like eventually, and just burn up.
Wow, that's crazy.
But initially, after they launched it, they found out that when they flattened out the mirrors for the telescope to see, one of the edges was 1/50th of a hair too like wide and
too flat,
or too flat or something. It affected the ability to see accurately. So in December of 1993, they had to go up and they had to have an astronaut do a spacewalk to fix it.
Yeah, yeah. I guess it was like, I mean, this was a huge failure. This thing. It was a tiny amount of over polishing that they did on this thing. It was 1/11,000th of an inch, which
2.2
is
microns. I saw a bunch of different.
yeah, 2200 nanometers. A lot of meaningless numbers because it's like I can't fathom 1/11,000th of an inch. That's not a thing I can think of. But just basically, imperceptibly, this thing was too flat, and that made it so that they couldn't really see faint objects, and high contrast imaging was basically impossible. So they could see stuff, just nothing that far away, and nothing they had to like zoom in on really. So it was just basically essentially a failure. Like this was a big the government was questioning NASA's competence, and it became like a joke for people on late night and stuff like that. It got parodied in The Naked Gun too. But in that movie, there's a part where they're like listing off historical disasters, and the Hubble telescope is listed next to the Titanic and the Hindenburg. So it's like this is on par with those things happening and going bad.
And everyone's like giving them shit for it, but it's like, I guess that is the most important part of the telescope.
Yeah, it's the
seeing
telescope part of it. Yeah.
All right, I got one more. Maybe some of these NASA scientists were going to use this machine, the Kevorkian machine, a machine that is used for assisted suicide, known as the Thanatron, named after the Greek god who personified death, Thanatos. So I was wondering
Oh,
where
wow.
Thanos' names come from.
Yeah, it must be. I mean, yeah, he's like obsessed with death. In the comic books, he's like obsessed with death. Is
Yeah,
like the physical embodiment of death, like the actual personification.
First patient of this machine, quote unquote patient, Janet Atkins of Portland, Oregon. Her husband, Ronald Atkins, and her sons knew about the procedure, and because she was dying of cancer. That's where a lot of these, there's 129 people who signed up to use this machine. And they were taught how to use the machine so they could use the device. Most of them use the device to take the final action. So it's still considered suicide.
It's
Crazy shit that this guy was allowed to make this fucking thing. They're like, tell me there's not mad scientists in the world.
well,
Like,
I mean, it's people who have terminal diseases and things like that don't want to deal with it. They don't, this is
yeah, it's not like
and
pulling a plug on somebody though.
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
there's a lot of there's like court cases that came of this guy. He got convicted of second degree murder in 1999.
I think probably where my like knowledge of it started was I think in The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. There's a scene where uh one of them is going to somebody, Uncle Phil's in the hospital or something like that, and then he's like, the doctor comes in, he goes, "I'm Dr. Kevorkian," and they're all they all gasp, and he's like, "No relation."
That's a great joke.
It happens a couple times in the episode like that. Someone will say, "Oh, he's with Dr. Kevorkian." It's not the same guy. Like it's just. So I had to be like, what does that mean? Who is this guy? So that had to be explained, the joke. Yeah, pretty intense though, Kevorkian.
Yeah, it's a crazy thing. Just to think of it, be like, I bet you I can help people kill themselves. Like, I don't know. There has to be there has to be a screw loose, is all I'm saying. It's not a normal thing, I think, to think about.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess it's your doctor and one of your patients is terminal, and they're like, "Look, I'm in pain every day. I don't want to just like wait for the clock to run out. This sucks. Is there nothing I can do?"
Yeah,
and
but there's like poison injections. Like people have been doing that. Like
yeah,
like it's not like that's a foreign concept to people. They know how to kill people. Like
I just picture the machine is just like a string that like leads to a handgun that they just go, "Okay, here we go." and how do I work this? Pull the string. That was easy. Oh. Well, let's move on. This is a better transition into video games than Dr. Kevorkian. So I'm gonna say this first. On February 19th, Photoshop 1.0 would be released. The actual Photoshop's all the way back to 1990. It was developed by brothers Thomas and John Knoll in 1987. Thomas was a college student who began working on the program like in school. His brother John worked at Industrial Light and Magic, the like Lucasfilm company, the special effects team, and he was like, "This seems like a real winner of an idea that you have. I think you should make this into like a full-fledged program." And so they started working on it together, kind of both, the Thomas was like developing the program, and John was taking meetings with like Apple and Adobe and all these people. They first named it Image Pro, but actually that name was taken already. So then they changed it to Photoshop. And then in 1988, Adobe purchased the license to distribute it, started selling it in 1990. And then they bought the rights to the brothers in 1995 for $34.5 million.
Damn.
Yeah, made themselves some money off
That's a good
that.
5-year chunk of change.
Yeah. For not, I mean, that was the whole time up until then, though. They were having to pay the brothers every time for the licensing. Like
Yeah,
they
so they're
bought
making money off that too.
yeah, they were making money for that a couple years, and then finally Adobe was like, "All right, we can't keep paying these guys for the rest of time. Let's just give them $34 million, and like that way we can cut them out of the situation. We got to move on with their lives. It's the '90s. And it was a Mac exclusive until 1993. So it was for the first couple of years only for Macintosh computers. Started at $895 at launch. Changed the way things would be handled, though. Definitely. I mean, that was like a huge step toward special effects and stuff. That's why Industrial Light and Magic, they were like, well, this seems like an interesting thing. It's not just useful for imaging and stuff like that. It would just change everything.
Yeah, I mean, people still use Photoshop. Up
Yeah.
until AI was a thing, that's how people edited photos
Yeah, it's crazy that
forever for everything.
that was like a thing for so many years. Like that's Photoshop, and now people just go like, oh, I can't tell if this is AI or not. It's like we've been able to Photoshop for the last 20 years. Why has nobody ever like? Don't you remember that? That's been tricking people this whole time. Like, why are we
Yeah.
now going like you can't trust everything you see online? It's like you haven't been able to. Photoshop exists.
Yeah, you can. I mean, you can always tell when it was photoshopped.
Yeah,
AI, I can tell when it's AI too. I would say 99% of the time. Still, I'm
Yeah,
always like AI, AI, AI. All
yeah,
right,
for
I'm
the
done
most part.
scrolling because it's all AI now.
Yeah. I use Photoshop as like an illustrator. That's how I do my drawings and stuff on the iPad is through Photoshop.
Oh yeah, it's come a long way for sure.
Yeah, so it's like it's
I didn't even
useful
know it
for
could do
many
that.
things. Yeah, I didn't either. I didn't really know how you even went about that. So I looked it up and was like, Photoshop is basically free. You can just use that. I was like, oh shit, okay, cool. I remember it being like, so this cool prohibitive thing. I never used it until then. I'd never opened a Photoshop before. It was like that's beyond me. I'll never be a Photoshop guy. And then now look at me now. Okay, let's move into the video game section
All
and
right.
talk about a lot. There were a lot of big things that happened in the year 1990 in terms of video games. It's a big year for video games. I'll start off by saying the Super Nintendo Entertainment System debuted in Japan. So we didn't have it here yet, but the video game boom is a coming. The boom is happening in the U.S., but it's big waves are coming from Japan and about to hit our shores shortly.
I wanted to talk about. I just wanted to mention, not really talk about it. Moonwalker came out this year.
Oh, really? Okay, we
Yeah,
talked about that recently.
Yeah,
The Michael Jackson game.
the Michael Jackson game. Yeah.
That's
Yeah, we
funny.
had just talked about it, so I was like, oh, I got to bring that up. And then Dr. Mario. This is a game I played a bunch.
Yeah, I've played it like once or twice. I mostly know Dr. Mario as the Super Smash Brothers character.
Not a lot of other things that I recognize that came out or I played and stuff.
Well, let's see. This is so, like I said, we're moving towards the era of really recognizable gaming coming into play. The reason why a lot of these games aren't that recognizable is because they're all for a litany of these other systems that didn't quite stand the test of time. The Sega Genesis had been released in 1989. The Super Nintendo's coming next year. So those are like the big ones that people recognize and remember from this year. Mario, Sonic, those guys are a little off. 1990 is a year about different consoles. So a couple of systems here. Let me run through some of these quickly and some of their specs. See, let me know if you've recognized any of these names. First up, we have the Commodore 64. It's like the console version of their computer system that came out in 1982. They only sold 2,000 of the 20,000 units that they had produced.
Shit.
So, yeah, did not sell well.
Sounds like a marketing thing.
Yeah, I mean, people liked the computer, so yeah, I guess it just didn't. I don't know why it flopped so poorly. Here were the games that it came bundled with. I liked the names of these. First, you had International Soccer. Not that interesting. Then you have Clax. It's like it's starting to sound a little made up. Then you had Flimbo's Quest.
Yes.
That's fake. You made that one up. And then the last one, I really enjoyed this name too. Fiendish Freddy's Big Topo Fun. Flimbo's Quest was just a basic
I don't like the
slide
name
scroller.
of that.
That one was like a cool circus thing where it was like a bunch of mini games. And you like there was like you're throwing knives at the spinning wheel with the lady on it, and there's one where like a guy's doing like a high dive and you have to keep the arrow in the small area, otherwise he misses like the pool that he's supposed to land in. So it's just a bunch of mini games. Up next, we have the Neo Geo, another game system from 1990. Recognize that one?
Nope.
That's another. I think that one I've heard of the Commodore 64. The name Neo Geo I do recognize. I don't really know what it is. It's funny that it rhymes.
I don't think I've heard of that.
Adjusted for inflation, it is the most expensive home video game console of all time. It launched at a price of $650 back in 1990, which would be over $1,500 today.
I'm like, dude, game systems now are $650.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's crazy.
The Neo Geo was an arcade cabinet system that then they also made a home version of. They first just made the arcade version, and then it was like super high-powered, way more capable of doing things than most of the other systems that came out around this time. And they assumed no one would want to purchase this as like a commercial thing. But they made this like console version as a rental system that you could like at hotels and bars and restaurants and stuff, they would rent this from Neo Geo and have it playable for kids and whoever. And then people, as they got a hold of this and saw like there's a home system that's this good, they were like, we'll buy this. And so gamers said, well, we'll spend $650 on that system. And so they came out with it, and it did moderately well.
Damn.
Up next, you have the Master System 2.
No.
Were you aware that they came out with a sequel to the Master System?
I was very unaware.
The Master System came out in 1985. This was like a cheaper version of it because that one was not selling great. So they were like, well, we'll have a stripped down version of it. The original one had like a slot for like credit card sized games. That was like the cartridge was a credit card essentially that you would put in there. Then the new one in 1990 to like keep it cheaper didn't come with that. Like, damn, that was a cool idea. That'd be neat to have had that be the way video games went.
Have like a Rolodex of video games.
Yeah.
He's so sick.
I guess when you think about it, a cartridge is kind of similar. Like it has the little part in the middle where that actually plugs into the game. As that basically like a microchip thing. So yeah, I guess it makes sense. The first Master System sold poorly, so then it got sold to like the rights of the system were sold to Tonka, which I thought that was kind of weird. Like the car, like toy car makers. Yeah, Tonka trucks.
Toy trucks, yeah.
That's
crazy.
And then
didn't do anything with it.
No, yeah, they did poorly with it. So then Sega bought the rights back, and they were like, "Let me try this now. You guys fucking fucked this up." So on the second one, it was crazy that they had the Genesis happening, and they're like, "We're also going to do the Master System 2 for some reason," and it did not great. They stopped U.S. production in 1992, but it did really well in Europe and Brazil for some reason. It was like the best-selling console there for a couple years in both places. And like they still make it's like a well-remembered. It's kind of like Atari is here, where you're like, oh, we have the plug-and-play versions. They have like plug-and-play Master Systems there. because they
That would be
they
dope to get one of those.
that would be cool and see what it was all about. See if they have Flimblow's Quest on there. Last thing I'll mention is the Super Famicom Naizu TV SF1, which is only in Japan. This was the follow-up to the 1983 C1 TV. And if you remember 1983, that's the year that the Nintendo Entertainment System came out. And that TV had that game system embedded in it. This is the Super Famicom, so it's the Super Nintendo version. This TV came with a Super Nintendo directly in it already.
That is sick.
And it people said it had better performance and looked better than it did if you plugged it in to a TV set. This ran better because it was just already right in there.
That is super cool. That makes sense. And it's not the first time people would put games in TVs.
Yeah, we talked about it before. It's that's a cool idea, and I wish they did more of. I wish you just could buy a PlayStation 5 TV, but they just don't do it.
You know, I remember when I got a Dish network. We got Dish Network back in the day, and that was a big old thing. You could play games on there, and you can use the remote to do it. I mean, it was a terrible way to play games, but it was still
like Snake and stuff, right?
Yeah, simple games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I'll say briefly because there were so many systems this year. There was the Game Gear and Turbo Express were both handheld games that came out this year. Two other ones that, again, the name's kind of familiar, but I don't really know these things.
Yeah, nothing really stuck, I guess, huh?
No, the Turbo Express was a handheld version of another system. Again, they kept reiterating their systems back then. This was the handheld version of the TurboGrafx 16, which is the home console that came out in 1989 in the U.S. And it used the same cartridges as the home console system, so you could play the same games and just take them on the go, which was pretty neat. I mean, that's
pretty cool,
pretty powerful for a handheld system. It also was backlit, unlike the Game Boy at the time. So you could see your stuff better. I don't know if you remember the old Game Boys were impossible to see because I remember I had a Game Boy that had a light you could turn it on and off to save the battery, and it was so hard to play it without the backlight on. But the point where they differed is that the Turbo Express lasted 3 hours on 6 AA batteries. That's a lot of batteries in a very short amount of time. Game Boy would last 12 to 40 hours on 4 AA batteries. So less batteries, quite a bit more time.
Yeah.
And that Turbo Express came out at $250, which would be about $600 nowadays. So pretty expensive. All right, let's move on to the world of toys. I have a big one. It is in 1985, Lonnie Johnson was an Air Force and a NASA engineer. Yeah, he's one of those guys who fucked up that lens earlier. Who knows? He came up with the idea of a water gun while he was coming up with a new refrigeration system, and water was pressurized, squirted out of something, and he hey, that was cool. So he decided to try to come up with a system of doing that intentionally. Built a prototype out of plexiglass, PVC pipes, and a 2-liter soda bottle. And then in 1990, he shopped it around. He made better prototypes. Eventually, made a full-fledged toy, and they started shipping it in 1990. And it was called the Power Drencher, but that name would be changed in 1991, and they would see much more success as the Super Soaker.
The Power Drencher is not a great name. not a good name.
It's funny how it's like the parody name of Super Soaker. That's what you just change each word a little bit. Super, power, soaker, drencher. Super Soaker is alliterative. It's way better name.
Wonder if you can come up with that now. Can you make that now?
Power Drencher? Yeah, I don't know.
I
don't know. It's a good point. I wonder if you're allowed to use that name. And they're like, hey, we use that. You're like, yeah, you guys didn't stick with it. You got rid of it.
And it would
now it's up for grabs.
Competition. I don't know.
All right. That's all I got for toys, though. Super Soaker, though. Definitive toy of the 90s, obviously. Everybody had Super Soakers.
And to go on to be iconic. Dude, I had a backpack super soaker. You had a
Oh
water
yeah,
tank on
those were
your
sick.
backpack. Dude,
Mm-hmm. That
so
was, yeah,
sick.
God, I missed that. There was so much fun. Everybody running around the front yard, and you run up to the hose and try to get more water in there quickly while you're looking around. And then, yeah, they just kept
Talking,
getting cooler and cooler like throughout the years.
yeah.
I remember had someone having one of the ones that had like a little tripod on it, so you could sit it down and like aim and stuff. And uh, I remember having one that had three nozzles. Like my cousin had one that had three nozzles on the front. So when you shot forward, it was a triple blast, and then you pressed a button, and the two of them would flip out to the sides. So that way you could shoot one guy in front of you and two
I remember
on either sides.
I remember seeing that commercial when I was a kid.
Yeah. My cousin had it. It was like, that is so cool. And it's like, there's no practical application. You're never surrounded like that in a water fight.
Right? Unless you got
But
a bunch of people.
yeah. I mean, every once in a while you would have, it's like I said, just that idea of just seeing just the whole yard full of kids all running around. Everybody has a different gun. And you see somebody has like a little shitty handgun. They're like, why did I get this one? And you're like, well, you're not that good of a friend. Nobody likes you that much, you know? You don't have a friend who's got money who's like, here, you got to try this one. Yeah, just all the different numbers of them. I don't remember which ones were which and stuff, but I know that was like the 50, the 100, the 150.
Oh yeah, I remember the number. I forgot about that number system. Damn.
Yeah. Like I said, I don't really remember. I mean, I'm assuming the 50 was probably just a little handgun one, and then they got bigger, they got better. Would probably be common, common knowledge would lead one to think that.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of fun, Super Soakers.
All right, let's move on to the big boy sports. The worldwide world of sports. We're going to talking about the champions here. I'm going to start off with a champion that would actually lose. Mike Tyson lost to Buster Douglas on February 11th at the Tokyo Dome. And up until that point, Mike Tyson was undefeated.
Mm-hmm. He was a beast. Yeah, it's regarded as the biggest upset in boxing history. Like, just people, it was a foregone conclusion to most people that Tyson was going to not just win, they thought he was going to like wipe the floor with Buster Douglas. People were like, this guy's got no chance. They're like, sports commentators and stuff like that were saying that we expect the fight to last 90 seconds. It was like one guy was quoted as saying when they said, how long are you going to be in Tokyo? He said, about 90 seconds. He took him all the way to the 10th round and then knocked out Tyson. He didn't just like win by decision. In the 10th, he knocked Tyson down the first time in his career Tyson ever got knocked down. And then didn't get back up. They counted him out. But he stood up, but he didn't get back together in time, and yeah, fucking knocked down one time, lost the fight. Buster Douglas would go on to become the champion, and then he had to fight Evander Holyfield right after this. And he already was like, oh, I can't believe I fucking won. So he didn't, people wanted them to do a rematch, and it just kept falling through and never was able to. And then Tyson kept he'd just come off of some personal issues, and he would go on to have more, which we've talked about as well. So this was just a weird time in Tyson's career, and it's kind of crazy to be that good at boxing. And people are like, it's crazy that he lost that one time. He's just that good of a boxer.
Like nobody can believe it that he lost.
Yeah. He got knocked down. That's crazy. Like, that guy's just insane.
All right, well, champions rise and champions fall. But we're going to talk about the rising champions of this year. The World Series champions were the Cincinnati Reds. The Super Bowl champions were the San Francisco 49ers. The NBA champions were the Detroit Pistons. The Stanley Cup champions were the Edmonton Oilers. Again, you guys can have it, Canada. Fine, it's fine. The FIFA World Cup happened this year, and West Germany beat Argentina.
Okay, Germany's one of those teams I always think it always does well.
Yeah, they do. I just thought it was funny because I was like, isn't Argentina where like most of the Nazis fled to?
Oh yeah, that's true. And that's like
and they're playing West Germany, which is like the part they hated the most, I feel like. the
That's
Western
funny.
culture of Germany's playing them, they're probably like, fuck this match.
Damn, that's crazy. It's also weird that they were West Germany still because they unified this year. So I guess it didn't take full.
Yeah, it must have happened before. I didn't write down the month.
Interesting, though. It's like
Yeah.
the last time they got to go in there is West Germany. They're like, all right, guys, this is the last time we're doing this. It's the 90s. So we're going to change things from now on. The NBA Finals this year between the Pistons and the Blazers would be the only finals between the years of 79 and 1992 that did not feature either the Lakers or the Celtics.
Damn.
Every 79 to 92, every single finals had at least the Lakers or the Celtics, if not both of them.
So what, 13 years? That's crazy.
Yeah, they were always. So that's what we always feels like we're always talking about the Lakers or the Celtics. Like we literally are always talking about 13 years. They're gonna come up because they're in there. One of those two teams is in there. Pretty gnarly.
That is crazy. Damn.
On November 11th, the Chiefs and the Seahawks were playing a game, and Derek Thomas would set the all-time record for sacks in a single game. He recorded 7.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it was
a lot.
Yeah, he was a sacking machine.
Does he still hold that record? I feel like he does. I doubt anybody's gotten 7. That's a lot.
Yeah,
that's a lot for a single game
to happen on one QB.
Yeah, that's a lot to happen in one game in general.
Yeah.
But for one person to do that is crazy.
Mm-hmm. That is pretty gnarly, yeah. It's just one of those stats where you see it and you go, okay, 7 sacks this game. That's a lot of sacks. That was one guy? What the fuck? Like, that's totally... Yeah, that's a horse of a different color. On July 25th, the Padres and the aforementioned Cincinnati Reds are playing a game in San Diego. There's a doubleheader, and in between the two games, they have a celebrity come up and sing the national anthem. Celebrity who's really, really doing well this year with her TV show. This rendition of the national anthem would come to be known as the Barr Mangled Banner, because Roseanne Barr would get up and sing the national anthem at this baseball game.
Way.
And
we have to look this up.
We could watch a minute. We could watch a second of it. That's a good idea. Well, we'll just watch the whole thing. I probably won't show the whole thing. What if I get flagged for that? Like Roseanne Barr comes after me? Like,
dude, I hope so. It'd be awesome.
You played all my video and you didn't credit me properly.
Oh my God, that was really good.
Okay, let's see. Oh, that's got to be the video. What the hell?
This is bad. You played 1 second. That's all you. That's all you needed to play.
Pictures. There we go.
Oh, she's trying to get through it too. She knows. Why did they get her to do that?
The owner of the Padres was
lost a bet.
His name was Tom Werner, I believe. He was the producer of a couple of really well-known TV shows from back in the day. He was a producer of The Cosby Show as well as Roseanne. And so when he took over, the team, essentially, he purchased the team. And then this was just kind of a publicity stunt. He was like, let me get one of my celebrity buddies to come in here and sing this song. And so obviously it's like, oh, it'll be funny to have it be Roseanne. I mean, your two main choices are Roseanne or Bill Cosby. Both of them pretty funny.
I think Bill Cosby would have been funnier.
I mean, the idea of it being, oh, she's going to sing it all poorly and shrill. That's the joke, obviously. Really offended people. I mean, you hear everybody was booing her and stuff. And people were pretty upset. People thought it was like a disgrace to the national anthem, and people died for this, and it like really upset a lot of people. I read like an article from back then about her saying like, "Look, man, I just was singing. They knew I wasn't a good singer. I just feel like that's how I sing, though. It's not like I couldn't have done it differently than that. But they hired me to do this, so that's what I did."
Yeah, I wouldn't, but I don't blame her.
Yeah,
I
people were really upset
blame
with her.
the people who hired her to do it. Yeah,
Yeah,
because there's no way you hear Roseanne Barr and go, "Oh, what a voice."
Yeah. What
It's
if it's like a Susan Boyle situation or something? She's gonna, all right, everybody, I'm gonna sing for you, and then she sings beautiful, and the rockets red glare. But yeah, like I said, it definitely upset quite a few people. The part at the end when she like, if you're not watching, if you're seeing this on YouTube, we watched a little bit of the video, but otherwise you didn't get to see at the end of it. She grabs her crotch. You can't really tell in that video, but she grabs her crotch and then spits on the field. You can see her
looks
spit.
like she spit on the field.
Yeah, you can see her spit, but you didn't really see her like grab her crotch very well. And people thought that was like her being like fuck you to the crowd or to like the anthem or something like that. And she was like, I was just doing baseball things. Like that's what the baseball players do. They grab their crotch and they spit. But it looked like she was like
a fuck you to the crowd. That's what I thought.
Yeah, it did seem like that a little bit, but I kind of was like, oh, is she like, whoa? The first time I watched it, I was like, oh, whoa. She's like, yeah, fuck you, but then when she kind of smiles and like walks away, and it's like she's trying to have fun with it and play it off, but didn't really go in her favor.
Damn.
No, that's not the only thing. Roseanne would fall out of favor slightly all over the world this year because we're looking to look at. Let's take a look at the TV shows from 1990 and the top-rated TV at the beginning of the year. Through September, that's when you get the new season of ratings essentially comes in, and then that covers September through the next year, 1991, whatever. First half of the year, Roseanne and the Cosby Show, both of the aforementioned TV shows, are number one. They share the number one position at the first part of the year. So Tom Werner, wildly successful, on top of the world. He can't go wrong. He's like, yeah, fucking put her in let's have her sing the national anthem.
Everything I do is great.
Everybody
right?
loves Roseanne. Yeah, everything I do is gold. And then they would drop both those shows. Roseanne would move from shared number one slot to number 3, and the Cosby Show would move down to number 5.
That's still pretty good. I mean,
yeah, it's not like they went completely kaput. Just they did go from shared to number 1 down a little bit. Cheers would move up from number 3/2. You know, it was billed as number 3 despite being the second thing after the shared top 2 slots. Cheers would move up from 3 to 1, so it became the most popular show around. So big year. The late 80s really is like peak sitcom years, and so you see it bleed over into the early 90s here. But 60 Minutes would jump up from number 7 to number 2. For some reason, that became hugely popular this year.
I feel like we talk about that every so often on these top numbers.
Yeah, and it's like kind of random years, too. It never seems to be, just every once in a while, just to be a year that it's the most popular program.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I wonder if it has to do with, like, things that occur, like, on some crime or something like that then makes this pop off.
Or, yeah, maybe. Or a lack of things occurring, and they're like, what's going on in the...
Maybe. And throughout the entire year, A Different World, solid number 4. I always find that interesting when something doesn't move up or down. But A Different World is the number 4 program the whole year long. Some debut programs from the year 1990. One of the biggest, probably the biggest show from this year, the one that would go on to the biggest legacy, is Law and Order.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there have been an infinite number of episodes. Like if you tried to watch them all, you would never finish. It would just because they keep making more before you would be able to reach the end.
Right,
like
right.
all of the spin-off shows. My mom loves Law and Order, so I've seen every iteration of it. You know, I know the cast intimately. I'm like, oh, is that Detective Munch? You know, he started on Homicide. You know, Life on the Streets. Is that what that show was called? Yeah, all these shows are interconnected. You wouldn't know. Yeah, so I just I know all these people, Mariska Hargitay and Lenny, all these people are like family to me. A show that my mom liked back in the day, and I always mean to watch. It seemed so interesting to me, but I never actually. I saw it as a kid and I enjoyed it, but I didn't really follow it that well. Was Northern Exposure? You ever watch that one?
No. I don't think
It's
I've
like
ever
a guy,
even heard of it.
a guy moves to Alaska or Canada. I can't remember which, but it's like a small town that he moves to, and just has to live in this little Arctic town.
It's exposed
Uh,
to the north, as they say.
exactly. You got it. You got it right away. Another one of the biggest ones from the day. A couple of the biggest ones back then were like these teenage shows. So Beverly Hills 90210 was enormous in the 90s.
Was that a teenage show?
Yeah, they're in high school. I think in the
Oh.
beginning. In the beginning of it, I believe.
Oh, okay. I never really watched it, but that makes sense, I guess.
I guess I didn't either. Maybe they're just let's see. Let's double check that. I thought they were in high school. Maybe they're not. A group of friends as they transition from high school to college and into the adult world.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, I think that it started off in high school.
Okay.
And then it stayed on long enough that they eventually were adults. Can't just have it be funny if they just stayed in high school. I can't believe we keep
Maybe
getting held
that's
back.
That's why I don't recognize it like that, because they were adults when I was
By the
a
time
kid.
that we'd have seen it, yeah. Another one, same kind of situation, started off in high school and move into adulthood, is The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Yes, great show.
Love that show. That's another. Yeah, it's one you remember. Like, I mean, I watched that show so much. I've seen every episode. So it's like it is interesting though that at the beginning he's a high school kid, and like there, a lot of the stories about him getting on the basketball team and fitting in at school and stuff like that. And then by the end of it, he's like a full blown adult.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I didn't watch it like back to front, but I watch it all the time because
It was always on. Yeah, so you'd see. It's like back then you would just have seen every episode, but maybe not in order.
Yeah, because you just watch what they play, and I don't know how they come up with their system of playing episodes.
Yeah, it's kind of cool though. I do like that, just being able to come on, and especially a show like The Fresh Prince, where you're like, oh, this one's got the, I like the original Aunt Viv better than the second Aunt Viv.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
And like I don't like these episodes.
Change.
Or like with Nikki's on the show, it's like, oh, this is terrible. I hate that kid. Like when the extra little brother.
Yeah.
You also had in the younger kids, still teens, but even younger. This one's like you can't mistake these for adults. Blossom, The Babysitters Club, both really big back then. I didn't really watch either of those.
The Babysitters Club, my sisters watched it.
Oh, okay, I don't think I've ever seen any of it.
Isn't
One that I
did
didn't.
Too. It's like a set of books. Yeah.
My sister read the books, but I never saw the show. She must have watched it, but I never wasn't one I ever saw. I watched for the first time the other day a show that was really, really cool. I really enjoyed it. A high school based show. It's called Parker Lewis Can't Lose, and it's it's a show that, like, again, another one of those things. There's a lot of this stuff from this year where it's like that name kind of has stuck out in my mind. I don't really know what it is. Never connected it to anything, but just knew the name Parker Lewis Can't Lose because it's a funny name for a show. And it was really, really cool. I really liked it. It's like kind of like Ned's Declassified, School Survival Guide a little bit. It's sort of like cartoon-esque, and it's live action. But this kid just like is in high school and like makes money just doing schemes and scams and things like that. And like the episode that I watched, the pilot episode, had actually Mila Jovovich was the guest star, and she's this pretty girl that him and his best friend both fall in love with separately of each other, and then he finds out that that's the girl he likes, so then he tries to win her over for him and all that kind of shit. And this is a really, really cool show. I really enjoyed it. It was very like interesting and unique, and like, at one point he's late in the beginning for school and the principal wants to meet him, and so he's like they got this lackey, this kid that just follows them around everywhere and calls them sir and stuff like that, and then he's like, okay, where's the Rolodex of excuses, and he just like pulls it out of his coat, and there's a huge Rolodex and then they're all like flipping through. I'm like, oh, you can't do that, you already had your kidney out earlier this week and all this other shit. And so then they like go in and rig the system to play a tape of him saving a bunch of people from a bus on his way to school, and that's why he's late. And so it's like the news report and stuff of them interviewing him. And it was a funny show. It really was cool. It was very unique. And I was like, damn, I'm going to start watching Parker Lewis Can't Lose, I think.
Huh, that's pretty cool.
You have anything you want to mention?
Yeah, a couple of one, things that I watched, and two, things that were like meant for kids that came out around this time. Tailspin.
Tailspin's great. Love Tailspin.
Yeah, I watched that one. I love that one.
That's a funny show to like the way it like changes the character. Like it takes characters that we're all very familiar with, and then makes them way different. Baloo is now like flies a plane and wears clothes and stuff, and like what a weird thing to take these like existing characters that had personalities and traits about them and stuff, and then just completely change it with no real reason. But it was a good show. It was really cool.
No, it was good. I watched it all the time, and I didn't realize that it only lasted like 2 seasons.
Yeah, it's weird. I could have sworn it was on for forever. I love that one.
Yeah, I watched it all the time. One that I really liked too as a kid is Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Oh, that's a great show.
Yeah, I love that show. They've redone it since too.
That's a great show. That scared me so much as a kid, like the opening of it and stuff. And I kind of liked Goosebumps as a kid because it was fun and a little spooky. And I feel like Are You Afraid of the Dark was usually scarier.
It was scarier for sure.
It was like straight up scary. There wasn't a lot of like of joy, like silliness to it or anything. It was just like, this is like actually scary. You guys ready to be scared?
They have new ones too. That are pretty good.
I should check that out. That's pretty cool. I really that was one that I did like to watch. I'd put it on and I'd be like, and I'd run away. I go hide in the other room. There were also a couple other cartoons. There was Captain Planet and the Planeteers. That show.
Oh yeah, I remember that one.
Show.
I never
didn't
really
like it. I didn't watch it. Yeah, I wasn't. It was already. It felt like outdated by the time we were kids. It felt very outdated compared to the rest of these shows. Like, because I did watch Tailspin. I also watched Bobby's World. I kind of liked that show. Sometimes it annoyed me a little bit, but I did like it. Like the one with the little kid. It's played by Howie Mandel. And he's got like a dog, and he carries around like a little spider stuffed animal that then also would like walk around if adults weren't looking, like it was alive, but was also a stuffed animal. I feel like kind of a Toy Story situation.
Nope, never watched this show.
And then another one that I really loved. I mean, probably the one I watched the most of these cartoons from back then was Tiny Toon Adventures.
Oh yeah,
I loved that show. Great show. I always loved Looney Tunes. So and also any like small version of cartoon characters. Instant winner in my book for some reason. Tiny Toon, that's great. They're small versions of the ones we know and love. Cool.
Baby Muppets.
Yeah, that's a great one. I was thinking of, I don't know if you remember, there was because I thought of when we were talking about Tailspin, and I almost mentioned it. I thought, it's not relevant. There was that version, there was like the Jungle Kids or something like the Jungle Cubs. It was the characters from Jungle Book, but like kids. I don't even remember that one. There's like young Panther Bagheera. And like little kid Louie, the orangutan, they all lived in like a temple. And
I don't remember that.
Just like weird like needless thing to do, but yeah, little kid version of TV shows is good. There was a couple good comedy shows came out this year, like In Living Color, all time great,
so good,
such a good sketch show. Mr. Bean, less good. I don't really like Mr. Bean. As a kid, I liked
an English
Mr. Bean.
thing though.
Yeah, Rowan Atkinson. I mean, it showed on like BBC and stuff here. It was never like on a network, I don't believe. But
I just remember him when the movie came out.
Yeah, that's kind of how I was introduced to Mr. Bean too. I kind of assumed it was around a lot longer. I thought it was like an '80s thing. I didn't realize it was that recent. When I was a kid.
Well, to get his own show, he had to be doing stuff for.
That's true. Yeah, it wasn't like he just walked right in and went, and they went, oh, give this guy a show. There was, let's see, how do I want to do this? I'll just go down the list. There were, in a more reality TV realm, you had Real Sex. That was one of those shows that you, middle of the night, put on and go, maybe I'll see some boobs. And then it's like, oh, these people are not who you want to be seeing the boobs of. It's like people, like real couples talking about their sex lives and stuff like that. Like, we're swingers, see? We like to go out and do some swinging. Supermarket Sweep, a new version of it.
I loved that show.
Yeah, me too. I really love it. I still watch it all the time. Like they have it on Pluto. There's a channel that just plays episodes from this.
Oh, I've seen that.
This version. I'll just sit there and watch. I love it. It's so much fun. That's another one that they've redone in recent years.
Mm-hmm.
And it's pretty good. I didn't realize actually this was the second version of it. The original one only ran from 1965 to 1967, but there was an older version of the show. Another reality-ish TV show that I watched for the first time this year was called Skate TV. It was on Nickelodeon, and it was hosted by Matthew Lillard.
Oh, what?
Yeah, back before he was famous. And yeah, it was really cool. It's like, oh, well, we're gonna meet with Lance Mountain. He's gonna tell us about boards and what size to get and stuff like that. And Lance Mountain told them, well, this is what pool boards are for. This is like a vert board. This is a street board. And then there was an interview with Ray Barbie, and they showed him like skateboarding and stuff. It was really, really cool. I thought
It was super cool.
Yeah, it was fucking sick. Actually, it was really neat. And yeah, I was like, damn, this is like legit too. It was kind of thought this might be, it's Nickelodeon. So, but Nickelodeon back then was very like, they were like authentic. Everything they did was like, okay, kids want to see this. What do kids want to see? And they built everything around what kids wanted to see. So with this, it was like, kids like skateboarding. Well, let's ask them what skateboarders want to see. And so they interviewed real good pros. And one of the people they interviewed was this guy, Gator. That's his name. That's his nickname, Mark Rogowski. And he's just like, giving a normal interview about how he got into skateboarding and stuff. And the whole time I was like, this is chilling. He, a year later in 1991, would go on to murder like his ex-girlfriend. Pretty gnarly style. Yeah, and it was like, oh, this is right after this happened. So it was like so very chilling the whole time, just watching and thinking, this guy's a fucking crazed maniac. And here he is on Nickelodeon being like, I love skateboarding,
Damn.
Well,
oh man, that's crazy.
So actually, another show would come out in December of 1989. First episode showed December 17th of 89, but the entirety of season 1, other than that episode, took place in 1990. And then all the way up until season 2, episode 9, also first half of season 2 of this show took place in 1990. So really the world fell in love with their favorite family for the next 45 years would be The Simpsons.
Yeah.
So this is a huge, huge year for The Simpsons. Like I said, really, this was the year the world was introduced to them. They came out right at the end of '89, but not.
Should I do this?
Oh, not yeah. Oh, you got the permanent Simpsons. My shirt also has this on the back. It's pretty. Yeah, I got a shirt on for those just listening.
Oh, the family on the couch at the back. That's cool.
Yeah. Oh, this is a really great shirt. But yeah, I mean, obviously, love The Simpsons. They not only would take the world by storm when it came to the television. The show was so popular that the world was like, we can't get enough. We don't just want to be looking at The Simpsons. How else can we consume them? We got to start listening to The Simpsons. And The Simpsons Sing the Blues would come out in 1990. Yes. That was their first foray into the musical world. And
first.
Yeah. It's mostly, I mean, there's like just a bunch of funny Simpsons song, but the one that really is the best that everyone would remember from this one is Do the Bartman.
Yeah.
Which is a very fun little rap from Bart Simpson. That track is available on our Spotify playlists. I made a playlist featuring the top 10 songs off the Billboard chart for 1990 year end. We got the top 10, then a bunch of other stuff off of the Hot 100, all the way up to number 50, which was number 100 for the year. That is Tic Tac Toe by Kuiper on our list. Starting at number 51 and onward, it's a bunch of songs that did not hit the year end Hot 100 that we're going to talk about. We are not going to jump into the top 5. If you are familiar, if you're already a listener of the show, that's usually what we do. So don't be scared. You didn't accidentally skip forward 30 minutes on accident. Hit the forward 30 minutes button. We're just going to drop that. Let us know if we're wrong. If you want to hear that, let us know. But we ended up feeling like every time we talk about this stuff, the more interesting stuff is outside of the top 10. We're always like, at number 3, this was written by this guy and produced by this guy. And it's like, who fucking cares? No one gives a shit. So we are going to just talk about the actual list here and focus our attention more in on just what was going on, what we think about it. So let's run through what was on the top 10, though, and let people know that at least, and then we can go from there. Let's start off at number 10. We're doing things differently. It's the 90s now, so we'll do things differently. We're going to start at number 10 and work our way up to number 1 and just kind of run through these. Number 10 is Blaze of Glory by John Bon Jovi. This is from the Young Guns 2 soundtrack. Still see a lot of the soundtrack stuff going on at this point.
Yeah, I'd never seen that movie. I don't think I've ever seen either Young Guns.
I've seen Young Guns. I have not seen the sequel. It's funny that this song is so popular and it's from the sequel. I didn't even know existed. I didn't realize there was a Young Guns too. The first one's okay. I don't love it, but the second one I can't imagine is great. Maybe it got way better. Who knows? Number 9, Cradle of Love by Billy Idol. Another one I didn't really recognize.
No, I don't think I recognize it really either.
There's Hold On by En Vogue at number 8. Number 7 is Another Day in Paradise by Phil Collins. It's a good one. I like Phil Collins.
Yeah, I like Phil Collins too.
Number 6, Vision of Love by Mariah Carey. This is off her debut album. So she came out with a bang.
It. Yep.
Yeah.
And forever kill it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's crazy that she, obviously, we always talk about the Christmas thing. Yes, she's like one of the most successful artists ever because of her Christmas music, but she was just like a definitive 90s artist. So it's cool to see she came out in 1990, hit the top 10 for the year end, and then we'll just go on to define the decade a bit.
Yes. A lot of it.
Yeah. Number 5 is it's funny. It's a good song, Vogue by Madonna, but it's just funny that this, I guess, is off of the Dick Tracy soundtrack. Which is
really?
It's a funny place for this to have come from. Yeah, like I said, I mentioned there were multiple movie songs on the Hot 100 and a couple in the top 10. So that was still, we saw that a lot in the 80s. That like the Ghostbusters soundtrack or something would be super popular, and so yeah, it just is still holding over in 1990.
It's a hilarious song, by the way. I don't know. I
Vogue?
think it's funny. Yeah. Strike a pose.
It is.
Strike a pose.
Do it, get it, strike a pose. Everybody fucking Vogue. It is a silly song, though. It also is like, it's so modern feeling to be in the Dick Tracy soundtrack. Dick Tracy's a movie, it's like about the 30s or 40s or something. So everyone's wearing fedoras and she's singing about voguing. Number 4 is Poison by Belle Biv DeVoe. Probably my favorite song in the top 10.
Probably the most recognizable to me.
Yeah, I mean, probably. I think it's a really cool song, so it's usable. It's not as dated as some of the other stuff.
Yeah. Doesn't feel like it popped right out of the 80s like there were some of the rest of this top 10 did.
Number 3, though, this is another one that's very... I'm surprised this one wasn't higher up. I think the top 2 songs are kind of surprising to me. Because, like, you see, it feels like we're getting, oh, yeah, Mariah Carey's debut album. Then Vogue by Madonna's a huge song. Poison by Belle Biv DeVoe. Number 3 is Nothing Compares to You by Sinead O'Connor, which was a really, really big song.
Yeah, for sure.
Like I said, I would have thought this would have been number 1, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like this song has lasted a long time. Like this one holds over for many years to come.
It's funny that for me, I mean, this is the one I grew up knowing and like recognized this version of the song. And then as I got way more into Prince as I got older, I started listening to him more all the time. And now this version of the song sounds weird to me because I'm more used to the Prince version.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a lot better. I mean, I prefer the Prince one. It's just, it's a regular Prince song. And the way he kind of puts his funny emotionalism into it,
I could eat my dinner at fancy restaurant.
I love Prince.
Yeah, me too. Number 2 is It Must Have Been Love by Roxette. This is from Pretty Woman. So another soundtrack song. This is one that's like, oh, okay, yeah, I know this song, but it's definitely not, I wouldn't have imagined it being number 2 for the year.
If it wasn't in a film, I wouldn't expect it to be. But because it was in Pretty Woman, it makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, that really is. We'll talk a little bit about that. I mean, it makes sense because of how popular Pretty Woman was that this would be big. But it's still it's kind of a boring song. It's not even like the best Roxette song.
Yeah, that's true.
But I mean, it's like their biggest one, I think. Just again because of this, I guess. Yeah, this one's kind of boring.
Yeah, I feel like we talk about a lot of these top 5, 10 songs, and a lot of them are like, these are lame.
Yeah,
super lame songs.
Yeah,
that's why we're changing it up a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see. Number one for the year. This is another one this one I know better than It Must Have Been Love, but still was surprising to me. Number one is Hold On by Wilson Phillips. Which
I didn't recognize it off the name of it, but then by the time it got to the chorus, I was like, "Oh, I've heard this song a bunch of times."
Yeah. This one I feel like is one that I mean, again, I would have expected to see this in the top 5, sure, but to be number one is really weird. It is a very a song that evokes the 90s, though. So it is a cool one for this to be 1990. We're gonna turn around and say goodbye, say goodbye. It's a cool. It feels way. That doesn't sound like 80s pop at all.
That's true.
Like they
definitely invokes the 90s.
Yeah, just totally makes it be a new sound, a new style of that pop music. This was off of Wilson Phillips' debut album as well. So damn, and Mariah Carey coming out and with a smash hit. Wilson Phillips. This song, though, Hold On, only went number one for 1 week, which it's not that shocking now with all the songs we've talked about and stuff, and like the amount of time they stay. But I found it interesting that more songs like this song going number one for 1 week and taking the top slot for the year end. This is only the second time that's ever happened.
Damn.
The first time was in 1962 with the song Stranger on the Shore by Acker Bilk. So not really common for that to occur, which is interesting because we've talked multiple times about songs that never hit number one and took the year end. So that's happened more often than a song only going for 1 week, which is weird.
That is weird.
Yeah, but yeah, so this song was just one of those ones people kept playing. It got big for a week, but then other than that, never was the most popular song, but ended up taking the year-end top slot.
Man, people they'll stay in the top 10 area on the Billboard charts all year long or around there.
Yeah.
And end up taking the number one spot. It's all about your averages, man.
It's all about your attitude. Wilson Phillips had a good attitude.
Attitude and their averages. Doing a great job.
Well, let's see. Let's talk about pop music. Let's see. Anything else you wanted to talk about off the Hot 100 first, I guess. Let's see. The 50 songs on our list. The first 50 are all Hot 100 songs. And this is a year with a lot of recognizable stuff.
Ice Ice Baby by Vanilla Ice.
Did he make the Hot 100? I forgot about that. That's funny.
Yeah. Number 29 on our list.
There were a couple that were like, oh, wow, I can't believe that was on. Like, I don't know. It just seems like You Can't Touch This by MC Hammer. Like that...
The Power by Snap. Well, that makes sense because when that song came out, it was huge.
Yeah. I like the Power
by Snap is pretty awesome.
That one's great. I like that Pump Up the Jam is on here too. Like those songs, you recognize them. Like, I got the power and pump up the jam. Like those funny jock jams. They're just good for hyping up a stadium and shit. And they were on this list. They were popular. They're pretty high up.
Aerosmith hits the top 100 again. This is their 10th album, I think.
It's one of the most successful bands ever. They're always on. Anytime they come out with something, it's on there.
Yeah.
Janie's got a gun.
This song, Janie's Got a Gun peaked at number 5 this year.
Pretty fucking gross song. I listened to the lyrics this time around. I've just always enjoyed. I just think this is a cool sounding song. And me and Megan were listening to it. And she's like, "What is he singing about?" And I was like, let me look these lyrics up. Yeah. It's just, she's gonna shoot her dad because
he
creeped on her. Yeah, nasty. You got right underneath that on our list. You have the Humpty Dance by Digital Underground. That's a fun one. To the Humpty Hump.
Yeah.
I love that song. That's so good. This was pre-Tupac joining Digital Underground. So that's kind of cool. I thought that's funny that their biggest song was before he joined the group. And then he went solo afterwards. So that's where he started was on the Digital Underground.
Oh, I didn't even know that. Prince.
Yeah, Prince did make it. So Sinead O'Connor's song kind of beat his ass, but he didn't make it towards the bottom of the list. Just a Friend by Biz Markie is definitely
I didn't even see that
one of the top songs of the 90s in general. And that one's I think he got into some legal kerfuffles because he sampled that song without permission.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then I think it just ended up working out. The guy ended up just being happy that his song was back in the public eye, I guess. I believe
Yeah,
so.
that song was popular for like 25 years after it came out.
I know. It just always reminds me of Always Sunny in Philadelphia. There's the episode where Dennis and Dee go on welfare, and they're just like sitting on the stoop drinking 40s and singing this song. Oh, baby, you. Let's see. Let's jump off of the Hot 100 and into the ones that did not hit the year-end list. A couple surprising ones. There's a lot of really good music from this year that didn't hit the Hot 100. Starting off at number 51 was There She Goes by The Laws. I was pretty surprised to find out that didn't hit the Hot 100.
Yeah. Cherry Pie. A lot of music that came out this year that was like classic rock bands, for lack of better terms.
Yeah, Cherry Pie by Warrant and Thunderstruck by AC/DC. It's kind of two songs that you go, those didn't come out 5 years before this?
Yeah, or 10.
Yeah. You definitely would have thought those would be like 80s songs for sure.
You can get that too from that Aerosmith.
Yeah. And that's Jane's Addiction. That's a cool one. Been Caught Stealing. I'm kind of surprised that didn't do better. Also, Feel Good by Tony. I kind of thought that would have been like a hit song. that reminds me of Rick and Morty, the one where they like go to that purge planet, and then at the end he's dancing. They're like him and the girl like in the mech suits, and they're like smashing everybody to smithereens, and they're dancing to Feels Good, and she's like, "What is this?" And he's all, "Feels Good, Tony, Tone," and he's like, "It was number one song. It was the number one song of the year." But like it didn't even hit the Hot 100 at the year, and I just thought that was funny that he's like all singing its praises, and I was like, "Oh damn, I thought this song did better."
Wrong, Rick.
Rick Sanchez led me to believe this song was more popular. Last thing I'll say here is that on November 27th, Milli Vanilli, their producer Frank Farian, admitted that the band lip synced everything. That the two gentlemen who are Milli Vanilli are marketed as Milli Vanilli are just there to be the face of the band. The singers, the voices belong to different artists who were actually like a bit older than the guys in that were actually, who were the group or however you want to refer to that. They had received the Best New Artist Grammy, and that got like revoked.
Oh shit! You can do that?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, they're like, look, we don't know who really deserves this, but it's not you guys. That's crazy.
Damn, that is crazy. There's no like runner up or something.
Oh yeah, I guess it must have. I don't know. I don't know if they had to pass it along or they just go, no new artists this year. Thanks, guys. But yeah, I mean, from what I've read about it in the past is that they kind of just got in over their head sort of quickly, that they showed up, they were chosen. They were singers. They did get chosen to be in a group. Then they get to the studio and stuff. And then the record company's kind of like, well, we already have this demo cut with these other voices. So we're just going to run with that right now. You'll get on the track eventually. Don't worry. We'll get you on there. And they're like, okay, I guess. And then they started shipping out like the singles and stuff. They're like, well, these singles are already doing well. So we kind of have to stay this way. We can't switch to your voices now. That would be weird. So that it's like very quickly already just snowballed out of control and got out of their hands pretty quickly. So the group was like, I guess we have to just keep doing this. I mean, they could have said something, but
Yeah. Then they would have just not been successful after that. But then they're not successful because they lied. So I mean,
yeah.
Which one's better?
Yeah, exactly. I think maybe if you did just come clean and try to have your musical integrity and hope that the world still will give you a chance, but there's no way of knowing if that would actually be the case. I mean, you probably think you'll get in trouble.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
They just started getting success, but then I just feel like this must have happened so quickly. I think is probably how it occurred. Like you get, oh, I got a record deal, and then a couple weeks later they're like, hey, well, we got this single already, so we're just gonna run with that. And you're like, okay, I guess so. And then 2 weeks later, you're successful, and what are you gonna do?
Yeah. Why? That's
yeah. So they lost their Grammy this year. Bummer.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But yeah, they did make the year-end Hot 100 with Blame It on the Rain. So that's just such a funny thing is that, it's weird too. I could picture them in the video saying, blame it on the rain. But like, that's not what their voices would sound like. And I don't know what the guy who actually sings that sound looks like.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, and then those people never got credit for it.
Yeah, exactly. You don't think you could have just been like, okay, actually, the band was Rob and Steve, and now they get the fucking Grammy because we liked them. All right, we know you know that we liked them. They're not front man material. Those guys are hideous. One's balding, the other one's fat. Well, let's see. Let's talk about these last few couple tracks on our list here that are more soundtrack stuff. That'll be our little parlay into the movies. Yeah, Funhouse from the House Party soundtrack by Kid and Play. It's a fun song. Somewhere in My Memory is the theme song to Home Alone. That came out this year. But I think probably the best one is Turtle Power by Partners in Crime. That was from the movie Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
That is a super cool song. I listened to it before we started recording.
It was good. It was pretty cool. And like the next movie is the one that has the ninja rap. That song is like very infamous by Vanilla Ice. Like go ninja,
yeah.
go ninja, go
Yep.
go ninja. But that's from the second movie. This one has Turtle Power, which is actually like a little bit of a better song. Let's see though. Those
You mentioned
songs.
"Do the Bartman" earlier. It's the last song on our list.
Yeah. That one's that's such a funny song. Like everybody in the house do the Bartman. Gotta get the whole house involved.
That has to be awesome to be like the voice of him. Like she has to rap on using his voice. That had to have been fun to do.
Yeah, it's impressive to be able to. I think it's just always so crazy to be able to sing in your character's voice is impressive in the first place. But she's like rapping and keeping it up for a 3-minute song. It's pretty cool.
The song's 5 minutes and 11 seconds.
It's way longer than I thought. But yeah, it's good. It's worth it. It's worth your time. It's worth your 5 minutes, folks. Go check this out. This list is available on the link. If you're watching on YouTube, it's in the link in the description. If you are listening elsewhere, I do put it in the Spotify description as well, or in the episode description. There's a link in there if you can click it. I don't know. If not, link in bio on Instagram. Okay, that ominous crow is letting us know it's time to get into the movie of the year, which is a spooky movie.
Sorry,
I don't know if I'm going to leave that in. I usually just mute the bird noise, but maybe I'll have to leave it. All right, and with that, we will put away the music and jump into the movies for 1990. We are still talking about the number one movie of the year, so that is not changed as of yet. Let us know in the comments. You want us to do away with that too? You want us to just fucking change everything about the show? Well, let us know. It's the 90s after all. We'll do things differently. So the number one movie of the year in 1990 was Ghosts. This came out on July 13th of 1990, directed by Jerry Zucker, written by Bruce Joel Rubin, starring Patrick Swayze, Demi Moore, and Whoopi Goldberg. The budget was $22 million, and the gross in 1990 was $205 million. This synopsis is coming from the VHS cover.
Nice. I love these ones.
This is a funny one. Think of the most touching love story you ever saw. Think, too, of the brightest comedy, the most astonishing supernatural tale, and a sleek mystery thriller. Did you come up with 4 separate films? Or are you among the millions of fans and critics who've discovered Ghost, the number one film of 1990? Ghost will surprise you, delight you, make you believe. Patrick Swayze plays a ghost who teams up with a psychic, Whoopi Goldberg, to uncover the truth behind his murder and to rescue his sweetheart, Demi Moore, from a similar fate. The word of mouth is that Ghost is a must-see romance, says Entertainment Weekly. Ditto to that. Which makes sense if you've seen the movie.
Ditto.
It surprises me that this movie was as popular as it was. I mean, I understand it being like a well-known film. It's a fun little romantic whatever, I guess. I guess it's 4 films in one, so you have that going for it, according to the people who put together the back cover. But yeah, just I don't know, a very weird one. I was really shocked to find out this was number one. Have you seen it before?
Yes, I have. But I watched it when I was really young. Rewatching it now, this time was like just triggering all the memories. Like, oh yeah, oh shit, oh yeah. Like,
okay,
I do remember this part of the movie. I thought it was good. I liked it. I thought it was like good story writing.
Yeah, it was
The
interesting.
plot was good. Whoopi Goldberg won an Academy Award for this, for Best Actress in a Supporting Role. And then it won Best Writing Screenplay, writing directly for the screen.
It's like non-adapted screenplay. Yeah, I mean, this was on top of being like critically lauded. Obviously, this was the one that people went to the theaters the most to see in 1990. It also was the #1 most rented cassette of 1991. So it was the top movie this year, and then next year for home video sales, rentals, this would be #1 as well. So people just genuinely loved Ghost, and everyone wanted to see it.
My mom didn't want me to watch this because she thought it was scary.
Oh yeah.
So before I watched it, I watched it when I was a little older, but before I watched it, I thought it was like a scary movie.
Yeah, I could see. I mean, for a little kid, it would be a little intense. There's a couple of scenes, but really not too much.
I just think like the whole like demon thing, or like, is what she didn't want me to watch about it. But
like the concepts involved with it are kind of heavy.
But yeah, yeah. But then, so going into it, watching it when I was a little older, I was like, oh, it's gonna be scary. Not at all was it scary.
No, like it's the only real like the one part. If you're a little kid, I guess the part where like Vincent Schiavelli is screaming on the train, like "Get out of my train!" That might be a little freaky, and then the ghost dragging them to hell. But yeah, other than that, it's not really.
Yeah,
doesn't really have too much going on. Let's see. I got some of the alternate stuff for this film. There's a kind of a good amount on this one. The script was originally pitched to Frank Oz, who like did agree to do the movie, but then left due to budget constraints, and then to Milos Forman, who just he and the studio and the writer were kind of clashing, so they just kept butting heads, and he ended up leaving the project too. So those were the two first directors who were like involved before Jerry Zucker got on, and this was the first film that Zucker directed by himself.
Oh, that's cool.
He, prior to this, was part of a directing team of Zucker, Abrams, and Zucker, who, I mean, everybody's seen a couple of their movies probably, like The Naked Gun and Airplane.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So very funny that the guy who did those movies would then go on to make this film. And I guess the writer was like, oh, you're not going to, this guy's going to fuck this movie up. I don't want him to do it. And then they went talked, and he gave him some notes about the script and stuff. And when he was like, oh, I guess he's serious about this. So thought I guess this will work out. Let's run with Zucker.
I mean, I feel like comedy writers and comedy directors really do well in other genres.
It's also interesting how often comedy people will go and do like a ghost film, even though this one's like romantic. It's not scary, but still, I just thought of like, oh yeah, like Jordan Peele and a lot of these guys that nowadays, all of the people making these cool horror movies are ex-comedy writers.
Yeah, it does translate. Like the unexpectedness is still like what makes comedy good. It's like, oh, I didn't expect him to say that. That's hilarious.
Yeah. And so that's what makes a movie scary or whatever is, it's just like building the suspense of what's the punchline going to be. And instead of a joke, it's just a scream. So, that makes sense. The writer wanted Patrick Swayze. He like really thought he would be good for the role. But the director said over his dead body was he going to have Roadhouse star in his film. And then he ended up seeing his audition tape and was like, oh, never mind, this guy's really good, you're right. But he was like, no, I'm not gonna fucking cast this action star dude in our nice thing. It's like, listen, motherfucker, you just came from the Airplane set. Maybe you can give Patrick Swayze some grace too. He'll be able to do something different.
Was this before or after he did the dancing movie? What movie is that?
Which one? That Jerry Zucker? Oh, that Patrick Swayze did? Dirty Dancing?
Swayze. Dirty Dancing.
Yeah.
Is this before or after that? Because he was not.
I don't know. You're right. I mean, that would have been like, this works perfectly. 87. So yeah,
I figured it was before.
Yeah. He should have known that he would have been decent in this film. But yeah, I guess he couldn't see past the nose on his face. There were a litany of actors who turned this film down. I guess people were like, this is not going to work. You make a ghost movie this is 4 movies in one. This sounds insane. You're trying to make the most touching love story I ever saw, plus the brightest comedy, the most astonishing supernatural thriller, and a sleek mystery thriller. This will never work. So the list of actors who turned this down is as follows: Michael J. Fox, Jeff Bridges, Kevin Bacon, Alec Baldwin, Nick Cage, Kevin Costner, Johnny Depp, Tom Cruise, Mel Gibson, David Duchovny, Harrison Ford, Tom Hanks, Kevin Kline, Paul Hogan, Dennis Quaid, John Travolta, Mickey Rourke, and Bruce Willis.
Jeez.
So quite a few.
I don't think there's anybody left. I think Patrick Swayze was the only.
They were like, it's like Patrick Swayze over my dead body. Who else said no? Damn, Travolta's too. Okay, what about Bruce? Everybody, all right, let's call it Patrick. Bruce Willis was actually married to Demi Moore at the time too, and he afterwards was like, he said, I don't think this movie's gonna work. Like when they offered him the part, and then afterwards
He's like, I think it's
it.
great for you, babe.
Yeah, it's like no, like that's such a that must be a hard thing. She's like, oh, I got a film. He's like, oh, that's great. Yeah, and they're like, they want you to be in it. And he's like, nah, it's not. I don't think this is gonna.
It's a you thing.
And then Eddie Murphy, he I guess years later found out that his agent turned it down without telling him, and he was mad about that. Like they approached him pretty early on. And his agent was like, "No, his like quote for this movie would be like a quarter of your budget. So I don't think we're gonna. You obviously can't afford him for this." And then Eddie was like, I guess years later was like, "No, I would have done it. I would have. Who knows? I guess what you say after the fact."
Yeah, I feel like it would have been a way different movie if Eddie Murphy was in it. I feel like Patrick Swayze took it really seriously. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I wonder if Eddie Murphy would have played it straight and been trying to make it emotional and stuff, or if he would have been running around, oh my God, that's a ghost, you know.
I'm a ghost. No way. That guy's a ghost.
What's going on? I can't put my hand through anything. Patrick Swayze reportedly would not do the film if Whoopi Goldberg was not cast in the what's her name, Oda Mae.
Yeah, she did do a good job.
She was great. The aforementioned Roseanne was considered for that part, and then they saw what she did in the national anthem, and they're like, "No, she's a fucking disgrace to this country. Can't cast her."
Oh man, yeah. No, Whoopi Goldberg does a good job. I like Whoopi Goldberg when she's like in her early acting years.
Yeah, she was great. I really think she was so funny.
Sister Act is great.
Yeah. She really. I loved her as a kid. I thought she was hilarious.
Yeah.
And yeah, we talked about like in the 90s, she was on top of the world. Like she was the most popular. It was like one year where we mentioned like 6 movies that she was in. That was right after this, sometime in the 90s.
And then wasn't she married to somebody famous too for a long time?
She and Ted Danson were together.
Oh yeah, that's who it was.
Oprah and Tina Turner were both up for the part as well. And
Oprah would have been hilarious.
Yeah, she acted sometimes back then. She would be in.
Yeah, she did, but I feel like she wouldn't have. She would have played it straight. I feel like, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
When you needed like the comic relief.
Yeah. It was actually also verbally given the part to Jackée Harry, who accepted it, and then Whoopi was like in the middle of not. She's like, I don't think my schedule will work out. She was then able to work it out, and so then they had to like take the part back from Jackée.
I don't know who Jack.
She's the mom from Sister Sister. She was also on 227. Pretty much all she's known for these sitcoms.
Oh yeah, I recognize her.
So yeah, that's a bummer. That's always like that's crazy how that happens, and where you're like, well, you offered me the part, and they're like, yeah, well, we're unoffering you the part now. Sorry, someone more famous, someone more famous wants it.
Yeah, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, there's nothing else we can say other than sorry.
I have a question. Do you think that piece of glass would have actually killed the guy at the end?
I don't know. I thought that was a weird way for him to die.
It was a weird. I feel like it would have been. I mean, it would have been like more gruesome and stuff, but it would have like hit him in the neck or something. You know?
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
Like that would have been more convincing. Like I don't know if that guy would have killed him, especially like right then and there.
Yeah, just the immediate death. I just thought, yeah, it was a weird way for him to die in general. It was just like, that way it wasn't Patrick Swayze. It wasn't like by his hand that happened. It was the guy's own fault.
I think as a ghost, it wasn't supposed to go that way anyway. Even though it could have, he can move objects. He could have like picked up a knife.
Yeah.
Or something. I think he was supposed to die from an external thing.
Yeah. I think that, yeah, it's like then that way Patrick Swayze's hands are clean and he doesn't have to get dragged to hell by. I thought about that. That would be so funny if at the end of the movie it's like, all right, well, my work is finished. And then they come and go, and steal him away. He's like, what the fuck?
Why'd you even have me do this?
I thought that was it's also like the rule, any kind of ghost unfinished business thing is, you know, the rules of it are always a little shaky to begin with. But this one was like, what? He had to like prevent her from getting killed. That was his unfinished business, or what the fuck? You know, he had to avenge his murder, but it was more about like keeping her safe. I don't know. It just was like, what exactly is his?
I think she was the byproduct of avenging his own death.
Yeah, so he just
like
had to
saving
avenge his
her.
death.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it wasn't. There was nobody who came. Even like because there were like other ghosts who were teaching him rules, and they didn't ever have anything to say about it. It wasn't like they're like, "Look, you'll go home when you finish your business." You know, it's like, why isn't the subway ghost? He's never finished. He just wants to be there.
Well, they never said that was like his goal either, though. I think he was just trying to avenge his death, and then by like saving her, it was his unfinished business had been. I don't know.
Yeah, like I said,
now there's you're right. Now there is a plot hole in it. Now
what was the subway ghost's unfinished business? He just has to scare everybody off that subway, and he's just gotta like make it empty so he can finally live by himself. So he's trying every day to keep people from being there.
Yeah, I don't know. Isn't there a TV show about unfinished ghost business?
Yeah, I feel like that's every ghost TV show. Speaking of the subway ghost, they did audition like 30 different actors before they landed on Vincent Scavelli. So just needed a tall guy. I don't know why we needed to go through 30 people, but
I think he did a good job. Maybe
I think he's good.
Like, sir, you are not yelling enough.
Yeah, he's another guy who's usually in comedy stuff, so it was fun to see him do a serious role.
Mm-hmm.
For Molly, they went through a similar number of actors as they did for the role of Sam. The one that went to Demi Moore was also auditioned for by Nicole Kidman, but she was too unknown at the time. And the director, everybody liked her so much that she ended up getting a part in Days of Thunder based on her audition for this movie.
Oh, wow.
The list here is Julia Roberts, Kim Basinger, Gina Davis, Jennifer Jason Leigh, Madonna, Andy McDowell, Molly Ringwald, Michelle Pfeiffer, Meg Ryan, Kathleen Turner, Mary Steenburgen, and Deborah Winger were all considered for the role. Should have gone with Molly Ringwald. That way it would have been easy on everybody because her name's Molly already.
She'd have been like, what? Oh, now.
Like, Molly. And she's like, yes. And they're like, oh, she's perfect. How hard it is for the whole time. It's Molly. And then Demi Moore's all, are you talking to me? My name's Demi. Oh, shit. Sorry. Forget that I'm supposed to be Molly in this.
Duh.
It's okay. Start over. All right, Sam, give that again. Sam. Another one that the studio was kind of pushing for a minute, but the director was like, no. There was an actress by the name of Swoozie Kurtz, and they wanted to. Paramount was really like pushing for her to be hired, so that way they could market it as Swoozie and Swayze. And the director was like, no, I don't want to cast my movie based on your stupid idea. So they didn't go with her.
What's her name?
Swoozie Kurtz. Crazy name. SWOOSIE KURTZ. She is the mom in Bubble Boy. That's what I remember her being. That I recognized her from.
Oh, yeah, I recognize her. What a wild name. Yeah, it's a real name. People change their names when they become actors and actresses.
But yeah, so that's what they wanted to cast her for her funny name.
That's hilarious.
And the director said, no, thank you. Let's see. These were kind of cool. That the two other interesting casting things were that the director's mom plays the bank officer, and the writer's mom plays the nun who faints when she sees the check.
That's awesome.
That's cute for them to put their moms in the movie.
That's so cool.
The shadows that drag the ghosts to hell, the screams that they made were just babies' cries, played backwards and slowed down.
It's so creepy, dude.
They're pretty crazy sounding. The original script had a couple funny points to it. There were a couple changes that they made that were pretty good changes. They definitely needed to do these. One was that the original script, like at the end when he takes over Whoopi Goldberg's body, and then like they share an embrace and they kiss and stuff. Already, audiences were like, "Oh, is it like Whoopi Goldberg is kissing her right now? Like that's what's happening in real life, you know?" Like, because he's in her body, but they just show the camera to see Patrick Swayze doing it to like evoke, oh, this is what is happening in their minds. But
Yeah.
but she's actually it's Whoopi on Demi at this point in real life. In the actual original script, they had sex that way.
Oh,
Like,
really?
definitely a good change to make. Yeah, they're gonna
Yes,
have
definitely
Demi
a
Moore and
good change to
Whoopi
make.
Goldberg make love. They're gonna have Whoopi.
Make Whoopi.
He's gonna look at Patrick Swayze was gonna look at Demi Moore's eyes and go, "Let's make Whoopi to me," and then the camera turns to reveal he's Whoopi Goldberg. Another change they made that was a wise choice is that originally Molly was a sculptor instead of like a pottery person. She used a hammer and chisel. And I just thought that's such a funny idea of like the sexy pottery scene, but instead it's like he gets behind her and he's like holding her hand with the chisel and the hammer, like dink, 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 while trying to be all sexy about it. That, by the way, we can't not mention that scene, the
Pottery
infamous
scene.
pottery
It has
scene.
to be
yeah.
like the most well-known scene of this movie.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's like the one thing anybody knows about this movie. I think Patrick Swayze said it was the hottest scene he's ever filmed.
Apparently, it wasn't supposed to go down like that. They just kept filming, be casually, like coming up behind her, and then the thing fell apart. Then once it fell apart, they just like kept rolling with the scene. So it's all like improvised.
Yeah, so it's supposed to, like they were just supposed to like make a nice pot and then move on with their lives. And the director's like, "What are they doing? Why are they making out? Stop! Somebody, I guess let them go. Are they gonna fuck right now?" Okay, look, if they start having sex, we got to stop them. But we're gonna let them go for a minute. It's definitely a good romantic film. I still am surprised that this was number one for the year. But I guess we'll talk about these other movies, and maybe we'll see that it wasn't a particularly strong year for movies. As much as like the music and stuff was pretty good this year, the movies were a little lackluster.
Yeah.
But first, let's rate Ghost on a scale of 1,990 backwards baby screams. What are you gonna give Ghost?
I'm gonna give it 1,420 backwards
Nice.
baby screams.
I'm gonna give this one. I'm thinking 1,350 backwards baby screams.
I enjoyed it more than I thought I was going to.
Yeah, I mean it's a little less like overly romantic than you might expect. It does have a little bit more like fun stuff. Like there's like more ghost stuff, him trying to learn how to push it around and things like that. A little bit of action in it. It's got something for everybody. Yeah.
Yeah.
You take your boyfriend to this movie and he's not gonna be bored out of his mind. All right, let's see. The other top 5 films of the year. Let's run these down. Number 2, it was Pretty Woman. So that's number 2 movie, Pretty Woman. Number 2 song was the Roxette song from Pretty Woman. It's a Pretty Woman. Solid deuce the whole way across. Have you seen Pretty Woman?
Yeah, I've seen it before. Not a long time, but I've seen it before.
Yeah, I think I haven't seen it since like high school, but I remember liking it. I think I kind of probably like Pretty Woman more than Ghost. And that sort of seems like it would have been the pick. It feels more of a 90s movie. It feels like more fun. It's more of a comedy, but also one that's pretty bleak though. Like Ghost is all about murder and all that. Like, there's not really a happy ending because he still is dead. It's like he comes back. Pretty Woman, pretty rough tale. She has kind of a tough life, it seems, being a sex worker.
Yeah, seems like it would be.
Number 3 also was kind of surprising. I mean, this is a movie that's incredibly well known. It's just that Christmas movies don't typically make it so high up. Number 3 for the year was Home Alone.
Yeah.
Very crazy that was that high. Great movie though.
I believe that it was. I mean, it's just so popular that I believe that it would take good right when it came out.
Yeah. Just like I said, usually the Christmas movies aren't in the top of the list. Like they'll do well, but obviously, again, this is just a year with some underperformers. Number 4, for instance, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I was blown away that this was number 4 for the year end. This was like an independent movie when it came out. This was the most successful independent film for many, many years. But still, I mean, kids liked the idea of the Ninja Turtles, so it's cool to see that it did so well. Another one too, though, that is like that movie's way darker than it really needs to be, being based on a kids cartoon.
Yeah, for sure. But I love that movie.
Yeah, I know. I've seen that movie so many times. I almost rewatched that this week, and I was like, no, I've seen that movie so many times. I definitely should try to watch something else. So, and then number 5 is The Hunt for Red October, which I don't think I've ever seen before.
I don't think I've seen it either.
So Sean Connery and like Alec Baldwin.
Yeah.
Yeah, never seen it though. But those are your top 5 films for the year. Well, there were a couple like really big Oscar bait type movies this year, like Dances with Wolves is one that people really enjoy. I like that film. I've seen it. Like
It's a
once or
good
twice.
movie. It's just way too long.
Yeah, exactly.
That one is also like 3 hours and change. It's 3 hours
Yeah.
and 1 minute, actually.
Mm.
3 hours
Another
and
one
1
that's-
cent.
But another great movie from this year is Goodfellas.
Oh, I love that movie.
Yeah, that's a great one. Kind of the opposite end of that is Dick Tracy, we talked about before. That's like the Goodfellas was the great gangster movie of the year. Dick Tracy is the hated gangster film of this year.
Yeah.
I saw it a couple times as a kid. It's been a long time, and I've always wanted to rewatch it because I remember it being neat. I like all the special effects and like the makeup and stuff, but I just know that everyone says it's a horrendous film.
Yeah, I've never seen it. I wanted to watch it this week and I didn't.
There were a couple action movies. Speaking of bad films, one that I also have never seen but kind of always had an interest in is Hard to Kill. It's one of the more popular like Steven Seagal movies.
Oh yeah. No,
I've never
seen it
watched a
either.
Seagal movie. I've always been interested. I'm like, what were these movies any good? Because like as I've gotten older, I've come to like cheesy action movies. I like Stallone films and Schwarzenegger movies and stuff. So I kind of wonder, would I like Steven Seagal, or would he annoy me, and would I not like it? You know. Speaking of Arnold Schwarzenegger, he had a couple movies come out this year.
Oh yeah.
There was the Kindergarten Cop, is a very beloved film. I don't know if I've ever really seen it. I've seen pieces of it, but
I feel like I've seen pieces of it because it was on like Disney Channel or something when I was growing up. I don't think I've ever sat down and watched it.
yeah, that's one that I just feel like everybody loved that movie, and I always felt like, kind of like I was missing out. We had it on VHS. I remember the cover of it and everything, and for some reason I just never watched it. I don't know why. But one that I watched a bunch as a kid, and I rewatched that this week, even though I've seen it a million times, was Total Recall.
I've seen it before. I haven't seen it in a long time.
I love that movie. It's so fucking cool. It's like, and really, as a kid, I really loved it as an action movie and everything. And this time around, I watched it like going, it's actually a really cool, like mind fuck sort of a deal of a movie where you don't know for sure if any of this is really happening, and the whole time. Like as a kid, I just kind of took it as a fun adventure thing, and now I'm watching it going like, man, yeah, this is pretty cool. Is he really dreaming or is he not? And they don't really like let you ever know. They keep it ambiguous. Another kind of action-y sci-fi movie like that is Tremors. Another one of my favorite movies ever. I love Tremors.
That's another one I haven't seen in a long time.
That's one that I watched it a couple months ago. I just will throw that on all the time. Just one of my favorite movies. I've seen it like a million times. I just watched it with my mom not too long ago because I was like, let's watch Tremors. And so we watched Tremors because we both love that movie. Edward Scissorhands, I've also seen a million times from this year.
Yeah, I've seen that movie a million times. It's a great movie.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Kind of weird, off-kilter, riding the line between a comedy and
Tragedy.
gothic spooky thing. Yeah. It's a cool one. And let's talk quickly about these. There are a couple horror movies. There's this movie called Nightbreed that's really cool from this year, where this guy, like, it's sort of another thing where it's like kind of, it's creepy but not really scary. This guy goes to like live in this, he's like drawn to this area in town where all these weird creatures live. Like all these, it's people with like cool makeup on and stuff. They're like demon looking, and some of them look like animal people, and just every one of them is different, like a rock person and just different weird shit. And they're not really like bad though. Nothing like it's scary happens to him there. It's just like he goes to this weird scary place. It's a cool movie though. I used to like it when I was younger. I haven't seen it in a long time. You have Jacob's Ladder. That's a really cool movie. It's a horror film.
Should have watched it. but I couldn't.
Yeah,
find it anywhere.
I'd recommend checking that one out at some point. It's really cool. It's another one that's kind of like a twist kind of a movie. The whole time you're like, what exactly is happening? Really good movie though. The ending of it's really good, really cool. Stephen King had a couple movies this year. Misery, awesome film, love that one.
Yeah, classic.
And then It. I mean, that was a TV miniseries, but it's kind of sort of a movie.
It was a movie to me.
Yeah, I think most
Like
people have watched it as a movie, as opposed
Yeah.
to sitting down and watching it piece by piece every week on TV. Tim Curry, awesome in that movie.
Yes.
Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer is one that I've seen before. That's one that I know a lot of people like can't really stomach. I've heard people like, man, I just felt like shit after I watched that movie. I need to take a shower. I really hated that experience. It didn't really do too much for me, but I know like if you're interested in finding something that might be pretty intense, a lot of people consider that one to be pretty. It's very like realistic. It stars what's his face? The guy from The Walking Dead, and he plays the blue guy Yondu in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh yeah. The Southern guy.
Yeah, I'm totally spacing on his name, but he's cool. I think he's a good actor, and this is when he was younger, obviously, so it's kind of interesting to see him in this role. Another one that I watched this week, kind of moving into like the kids version of stuff. There was a couple like kids horror-ish movies, like The Witches. That movie's pretty scary for kids.
That movie is scary. I remember that movie.
Yeah, I haven't
I've
seen
seen
it in
it
a while. It's good,
recently
though.
because they remade it, and I was like,
Mm-hmm.
I want to watch the original one because that one was scary.
Yeah, the original one's pretty good. I love so many good practical effects in the movies throughout this year.
Yeah, for sure. Even
'Cause,
like
yeah,
the
when
makeup
Angelica
and
Houston-
stuff.
Yeah, when she changes and her face is all nasty and like
Mhm.
like melting, it looks so cool. Very scary looking though.
Yeah, for sure.
And then another one, this is the one that I watched this week. I watched over again because I really just love this movie. Is Gremlins 2. Is
I didn't watch it. Damn it, I forgot.
such
to
a
watch
wild
it.
movie. It's free on YouTube. And then two movies that I loved when I was younger, a couple cartoons that are just based on old TV shows, were the Jetsons movie and the DuckTales movie. Both of those are great.
Yeah. The Rescuers Down Under. That one,
Oh, yeah.
I like that one too. I like that one a lot growing up.
Yeah, that's crazy how much later that came out than the first Rescuers, because the original one's like from the 70s and they waited like 14 years or something to make this one. I thought
Yeah, it
also it's
wasn't
funny,
long.
a couple different people went down under, because there was Rescuers Down Under this year, and then also there was a movie called Quigley Down Under. So for some reason, just going down under was all the rage in 1990. All right, well, that's about it for movies, and that means it's time to wrap up for the rest of the show. It's time to move on with our lives. It's the 90s. It's time to move on from the old days, do something new. But we have to first pick one thing that we both are going to save from the year 1990. Everything else disappears, fades away. The light flickers out, and all that's left is the one thing we choose. I'm going to save the movie Tremors. Really love that movie. I watch it all the time. It's definitely one that that's something that I could rewatch again and again and again and be happy with. So I'll save that. And it's a couple of TV shows that were pretty good too, but
I am gonna save Are You Afraid of the Dark?
oh wow, okay. Spooky.
Yeah, I really like that show growing up.
That was a good one. Well, that's good.
We don't
got
save a lot
couple
of spooky stuff, so
Yeah, I mean, I usually save some weird horror movie, and this time you
that's
got
true.
that. And Tremors is kind of it's on the line.
Yeah.
It's frightening. Yeah, well, it's a year with Ghost. So yeah, 1990 was a lot more spooky than I realized. I guess we got Ghost.
Yeah,
We got Are You Afraid of the Dark? All right. Well, I really had a good time in 1990. This year was great. I'm glad that we changed so many things from the 80s. It's the 90s. We're gonna do things differently. I had a really great time in 1990, and I know that I'm gonna keep thinking about it, thinking the same. I don't know if you'll be thinking the same thing I'll be thinking of, but we'll both probably be thinking that we wish
we were then.